All right, and welcome back. Welcome back. Oh, god damn it, this... stupid. Whatever, I meant to fix that and I forgot to. Whatever, I'll worry about it another time. So, as we jump into it today... You're right, normally we boot up Fall Guys, we play a game of Fall Guys, yada yada yada. Today, however... I want to... instead of playing Fall Guys... I actually want to watch the big announcement, the Free for One announcement stream, or Free for All, Free for One, All for One and One for All. No, we're gonna start off today by watching the Fall Guys Free for All announcement stream. It's like half an hour, and yes, I will be pausing to analyze it, to talk about what they're talking about. Pretty straightforward stuff. So it should all go pretty straightforward. But, yep, here we are. So yeah, this is the Fall Guys Free-for-All. This was their big announcement stream. I think it was Monday, so it's been like a week now, I think. Or it's been, 5-ish days. Yeah, I think it was Monday. But yeah, this is the stream they did. I think it's fine to stream on Twitch. Right? Like, I don't think they have any copyright music other than the, Fall Guys music, so I'm sure we'll be fine. Hopefully. Probably. But yeah, we're just gonna watch this, and then we'll talk about it, and then I'll boot up Fall Guys afterwards, and we'll actually jump into the game, and we'll, go a little bit more into detail. But I want to actually start off by watching the thing. Alright.
Hey there, Bean.
I'm just going to assume you can
Looks
hear
like
it.
you need a friend. Well, you're in luck, because soon Fall Guys will be beaming to you live on even more platforms, including PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and the Epic Games Store. And with cross-play and cross-progression, playing with friends has never been easier. But wait, there's more. Fall Guys is going free. Party up with your friends across the entire range of Fall Guys seasonal content. And for those of you who've been with us for a while, enjoy a free Legacy Pack. For newcomers, we got Fall Guys, Fun Guys, Pride Guys, and this guy? We've got more challenges, outfits, and obstacles than you can honk a kazoo at. Silent, could you give Pink a hand? Fall Guys are not responsible for any basket-fall-induced arguments, friendly fire in Team Tail Town, injuries sustained from having too much fun, high blood pressure and broken friendships caused by terrible squadrons, incorrect classification of lots of fruits, micromanaging showruns, nihilistic brawls from your 8-ball tower, malfunctioning bingo. Okay, we're gonna stop right there for the first time. So, basically every prediction I made last week totally came true. First off, the game is now free to play, which... it makes sense. I mean, we all kind of saw this coming when Fall Guys was bought out by Epic Games. So that does make sense. I'm in theory fine with it. But, well, on one hand, it like, for people who did pay money, for, like, people who bought the Steam version, or people who bought it on PlayStation since it, like, August of, 2 years ago, that does kind of suck for them. Because the Legacy Pack, like, the free costumes and whatnot, they're costumes, that's it. Ugh, who cares? And there's only 3 of them. But for people like me who didn't pay $1 for the game, because, I already had PlayStation Plus anyways, so I just got the game, I guess I have less of a problem with that, because I didn't pay any money for it. So free to play, yeah, okay, it makes sense. I do have some concerns, and we'll get to them later in this stream. But it makes sense. Oh, did I say I've seen this already? I don't know if I said that, but it should be pretty obvious. I have seen this stream already once. I watched it live when it happened. Second thing, crossplay. So it coming to Epic Games Store, Xbox, and Switch makes perfect sense. Crossplay. They did cross progression where you had to sign into your Epic Games Store account.
So that's how they're doing that now. That all makes sense. Okay. And I think cross-play and cross-progression, even though I'm a Nintendo guy at heart, even though I do play a lot of PlayStation, and I've been using Xbox Game Pass, I do really like crossplay. I think crossplay is an amazing feature in video games. And I'm glad more and more games have crossplay. That part of the reason why I think this update took as long as it did is because they had to get crossplay working, they had to get it all on, they had to get everything on the Epic Game Store engines, and I think they'll say something like that a little later. But yeah, no, it makes sense for them to, wait all this time to get it. And by making it free to play, right, people always say Fall Guys is dead game. It's not. The real dead games are the one nobody says dead game to. But it makes sense, because that way a bunch of players who are just starting off, well, hey, now the game's free to play, so you don't have to buy it. You can just get into that ecosystem. Right? That's how Fortnite works. There was a paid version of Fortnite, but yet the Battle Royale mode was free. Now, nobody talks about the paid version of Fortnite, because who gives a shit? Because the Battle Royale mode just supplanted it. So I think going free to play, right, it makes sense to grow their base. It makes sense to do it when the version launches on the new consoles. I have my concerns. We'll talk about those later. That makes sense. Anything else? Oh yeah, June 21st. That's a month away from today. Today is May 21st. So yeah, that is literally a month away. So it's right around the corner. And yeah, I guess we'll continue onwards.
Or any tall guy, small guy, long guy, wide guy, low guy, or high guy nightmares.
Hello everyone and welcome to this very special Fall Guys free-to-play reveal. We're here at the Fall Guys HQ. I'm Anna Sillywood.
And I am WWE superstar Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed.
Getting Xavier Woods is really cool, actually.
And
I've seen him in I don't watch wrestling, but Xavier Woods is just such a personality. I love him so much. He's so cool in everything I see him in.
Everything that we're talking about today.
I mean, we have got so much coming your way. We're diving into the move to free to play, exploring the details of the Fall Guys Legacy Pack, taking a sneak peek at next season, and uncovering some upcoming collaborations crashing their way.
Literally everything I predicted in last week.
Before we peer into the future of the game, I'd love to take a moment to think about just how far Fall Guys has come.
Oh yeah, now it's time to jerk themselves off a little bit. It's interesting, they don't have a logo thing for Season 2.
Fall Guys really holds a special place for
like,
all of us.
they don't have anything special for
than we ever really
Season 2, which I think is interesting.
When we were all in the studio, sometimes we'd make so much noise that people...
Because I know people didn't like Season 2, but I guess they did start doing that with Season 3.
In the first 24 hours, I think we had like 1.5 million players tried to get into the game. Even our wildest numbers that we'd sort of expected and hoped for, it vastly outperformed that.
Fall Guys was so special when it came out because it dropped at the
It's interesting to watch this
2020.
and see how many things are different.
Together during a really bad time.
Like that. That's not
When
how
I
that
think of
looks.
Fall Guys, I think
Maybe
of
they're
the
changing
friends
it.
I've made,
Maybe they
family
are, but
games,
or maybe that's an older version. Because I know like
falling a lot,
the egg scramble,
frustrating.
the image for egg
Si
scramble
todavía no
is
has jugado
still
Fall
the
Guys
old
nunca,
version.
no sé a qué esperas. Es un juego 10 de 10.
O que o Fall Guys mais marcou na minha
And
vida foi
now, okay, I know they're jerking themselves off right now, and in some ways they've earned it, you know. I always give a little bit of time, right? Like, it's okay to do it, but I like that they don't just have, right, a bunch of, like, English streamers. By putting in, you know, people who are not speaking English, it shows how much, like, of a bigger game it is.
It's a very good feeling.
Again, they're just jerking themselves off, but... Now, okay, I say that, and, like, this is fine, right? I'm fine with indulge yourself a little bit. But I do think this showcase goes on. They indulge themselves a little too long in this presentation. This opening thing is fine, but they'll keep bringing it back later, and it does start to get on me.
The kind of standout moment for me will probably be when Snoop Dogg played Fall Guys.
There's definitely bits that, you know, stand out in my mind, like Tim the Tatman's quest for the crown. And then also things like the battle for the brands. You know, it's great to work for charity. And
Battle for the Brands was pretty good. All the money they raised for charity.
just how far the game had reached. It was awesome.
With over 40 million beans competing to take home an astonishing 28 million crowns, whilst another 17 million have found themselves plummeting into the gooey depths of Slime Climb, the world's greatest game show has definitely seen some excitement. But I know all you Switch and Xbox lovers are desperate to put your skills to the test and grab a crown of your own. So I think it's about time you got to see the game in action.
So yeah, we've got the Switch and Xbox versions. And it is, I think they will specify it's Xbox Series X. I don't know, I'm assuming this is the type of game that would work both on Xbox One and Series X. I don't know if they actually mentioned that, but they do specifically highlight Series X. And PS5. Because one of the things I had speculated about was if we were going to get a PS5 specific version. And yeah, that looks to be the case. And honestly, I don't really see that much of a difference between all the versions. I mean, I know the Switch version is 30 frames per second. But even with that, I actually don't see that much of a
There you have it. Fall Guys on Switch, Xbox, Epic Games Store, and a cheeky peek at the dedicated PlayStation 5 version. Don't forget, these are all free to play, including cross-platform parties and cross-progression, so it'll be easier than ever to join your friends in the Blunderdome, no matter what system they're playing on. And for you to jump seamlessly from one system to another without losing any of your progress, all with the use of your Epic Games account. Over the last 12 months, making sure all these platforms offered the best gameplay experience possible has been the team's highest priority, and a slightly bigger task than we'd imagined. I'm sure you've got loads of questions about the game, but before I hand over to Austin to dig into the details, here's a quick word from someone else who's very excited about Fall Guys' upcoming release.
So this is interesting.
Hi everybody.
Because they
I'm John
literally
Vignacchi,
just give
Director of Partner Management at
Nintendo,
of America.
like their
And
own
I'm
little
Steve
segment
Singer,
here.
Senior Vice President of
Like,
Publisher and
that's-
Developer Relations at Nintendo
It's just
of America.
weird, you know,
We are
to give
delighted to
Nintendo their
welcome Fall
own little
Guys
segment.
to the Nintendo Switch system. For the first time ever,
I mean, I
you'll be
know
able to take this madcap online
someone from
multiplayer battle
Xbox
royale on the
and
go and enjoy
PlayStation
beantastic
will come out and
obstacle course
speak
chaos whenever
later.
and wherever
But
you
I
like.
feel like Nintendo
Fall Guys
segment is
will
definitely
offer full
longer than everybody
crossplay
else's.
and cross progression. So no matter who you play with or where you started your quest to claim the crown, we hope you'll enjoy partaking in personality-packed pandemonium on the Nintendo Switch.
Tackle dizzy heights at the DMV, or brave the Lost Temple over a latte, or bumble
And
through
of
the
course it
block
is
party while
Nintendo,
you're in
so
the
it's a little cringe.
Wherever you want to play, you can wishlist the game now on Nintendo.com to get all the latest news and updates.
We want to thank our friends at Mediatonic and Epic Games for their partnership, and that crown is mine!
Yeah, they're gone. That's a wrap. Pack it up, guys.
Whatever.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Anna, Senior Engineer of Fall Guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for being here. And thank you for being on this incredible set. This is wild.
Right?
Yeah, how you feeling seeing all your Fall Guys in the library?
Oh man, like, come on, look at this. It's just crazy. It's like you're inside the game.
I know, right? Which was your favorite outfit?
The outfit, probably unicorn.
That's mine too.
But if I was a bean, I would be the one with a book.
Oh, that'd be
Definitely sleeping on the background. Yeah, that's me, totally.
Well, since you are so close,
So yeah, they made this like whole like CGI set.
How does it
that,
feel?
I think
be
it's
so
cute.
Close
You
to the
know,
Switch
whatever.
and Xbox
It's
release?
fine.
You guys just freaking out at the office?
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, it's been crazy road, obviously. But yeah, being able to have a game on so many platforms coming together, I don't know, I can't wait, honestly, to see all the new people playing and, you know, enjoying it.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to grill you about the differences in all the games, you know, the improvements and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Then first, can you give us some details about the Switch version?
You will be able to play handheld and on the dock station. The specs differ a little, so on a handheld you will have 30 FPS and 720p, and on the dock station you will have 1080p and also 30 FPS. You will be able to use your Joy-Cons or the Pro Pad.
Nice. Okay, we got Switch covered. So what about my Xbox people?
So real quick with the Switch thing, 30 FPS. I know some people are going to be disappointed by that, and I okay, you know, it's the Switch, it's whatever. I think it's fine, especially because with what they're about to say, or with what they'll say with the PS5 version, I don't know if the current like PS4 version of Fall Guys runs at 60 FPS. The current version of Fall Guys might only run at 30. I'm not entirely sure about that. But either way, it worked. 30 FPS is fine. I know some people hate it. It's fine. It'll work fine. This isn't a shooter where you need pinpoint accuracy, and that difference between 30 and 60 can actually make a difference. And, you know, having that refresh rate. No, this will be fine.
Oh, the Xbox. There are so many of them, so don't want to miss any of those. But yeah, we're looking forward to that.
I might be able to help with that so we don't miss anything. I think we got a graphic showing some stats.
So we have a so yeah, Xbox One, Xbox One X, Series X, whatever. 30. See, so yeah, the Xbox, so it basically runs on par with the Xbox One version, which is what I would expect. So yeah, I would not be surprised if the current PS4 version runs at 30 FPS. And having played the current PS4 version, it runs fine. So yeah, that'll work fine. 60 FPS will be cool, and you know that Xbox Series X getting that honestly, I can't really tell much of the difference, honestly. And now having like a 4K TV, I don't know. It'll whatever.
And I feel like they're all looking good.
A graphic
Yeah,
does make sense for you.
We're really looking forward to actually be able to support those platforms, so I really hope that a lot of people will enjoy it.
Yeah, okay. And then, obviously, what about my PS5 people?
We're targeting 60 FPS and 4K, so your game will look brighter and shinier and faster.
There we go, there we go. Now,
so that's cool for me.
My people on PC, Epic Game Store. Can you give me some of that info?
Well, lucky you. We are coming also to Epic Game Stores, so you will be able to play with all your friends that you already have there and using your account on the Fall Guys game. We're also looking into implementing some of the very loved functionality as support a creator. We won't be getting that at launch, but it will be added to the game shortly.
So I'll be honest, I have no idea what that means. The supported content as a creator, no idea. What I will say, and I don't think they say it in this presentation, but they said it in their website afterward, or on their website, that while yes, Fall Guys is coming to the Epic Game Store, it is also being taken off Steam. Now, if you already have the Steam version of the game, you get to keep that, right? If you already have the version on Steam, you can, that's still your version, that'll still work. You don't have to download, you don't have to go get the Epic Game Store launcher to download it again or whatever. The Steam version still works. It's just as of June 21st, you will no longer be able to buy the Steam version, or there won't be like a free-to-play download version on Steam. You instead will need the Epic Game Store launcher. So that's something I don't think they talk about in this showcase, but it was announced on their website afterwards. Which, on one hand, okay, Epic Game Store paid a lot of money for Mediatonic. You know, they've got to get all their monies out of it, and having Fall Guys as an exclusive is a big deal. Because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm assuming Rocket League is also no longer available on Steam, or at least because Mediatonic or Epic Games bought Psyonix, which makes Rocket League. But I don't know if I honestly don't know if Rocket League is still on Steam. I'll look into that afterwards, probably. But yeah, that's so like I see why they're doing it. I don't know. I think it just makes sense to have it everywhere, and especially because it's already been on Steam for like almost 2 years now. It'll be 2 years in August. But so that's something I don't love. It technically doesn't bother me personally because I never bought it on Steam in the first place, but yeah, no, I get where that problem would come from.
As the game.
You guys are working. You are working.
I mean, it's been busy, definitely. You know, we're not slacking at all.
Yeah, okay, so to recap, we got Switch, all the Xboxes, PS5, and Epic Games Store.
Exactly. Everyone.
I can't wait. Thank you for
Now,
taking time.
and
to be
again,
here.
all those are crossplay, and that's
we're gonna
still,
toss it back to you,
no
Al.
matter what, I think crossplay is cool. The more games that do crossplay, the better. I think it's a really great feature.
Xbox,
Keep going for it.
PlayStation 5, and Epic Game Store versions of the game. But before we go any further, I just want to remind PlayStation 4 players that a new version of the game is available to download right now.
So this happened a while
This new
ago.
version is really important, as without it, you won't be able
Yeah,
to
this
play the game.
happened
So,
like a month
yeah,
ago now.
Pretty important.
I've got the new
If
version.
you haven't
so
already
yeah.
done so, head to your game library and you'll see 2 versions of the game. Simply download the coloured version and you're all set.
Yeah.
And don't worry, you won't lose any of your hard-earned costumes, kudos, or crowns.
And trophies transfer over as well.
It is so exciting to
See,
finally
here's,
be able to bring Fall Guys
Major
to
Nelson.
Xbox, and even more so as a free-to-play title. Our players have been waiting for this moment, and Fall Guys will be amazing on
we'll talk about
Xbox
that in a
Series
little bit.
X and S, with faster load times, 4K resolution, and 60 frames per second on Xbox Series X. Game Pass Ultimate members will also receive 1 costume per month for the first 3 months of the game's release on Xbox as perks.
God, do I have to
We're
download the
looking
Xbox
forward to
version
seeing
just for
Fall
that?
Guys land on Xbox soon.
We really want to make sure
I don't know
free to
if I
play
will.
is a
I'll probably-
celebration.
I don't know.
And as part of
We'll
the
talk about it
festivities,
when we get.
we
Again,
want everyone to have
I'm
the
waiting
chance
for the
to earn
for
some
the
awesome free
twist, the
stuff.
catch.
So today sees the launch of our pre-registration page. By heading over to the web address below, you can pre-register your interest in free-to-play. But obviously, that's not all. As more
So they have this
people
pre-registration
pre-register,
thing.
You'll unlock a stack of exciting rewards.
I'm waiting for them to
including
show.
a nameplate.
Yeah, let's just pause. So this pre-registration thing has been running all week. As of this moment, I checked it this morning. They are at 500,000. So the first of the pre-registration rewards has already happened. They haven't gotten to 1 million. They're at 500,000. I don't think we know the exact number. We just know they're
Lots of
past
ornaments
500,000.
And the melon head costume. So make sure you get all your friends to register and help push us closer and closer to those rewards.
Yeah, they've gotten the first reward
Now,
so far.
I have a question for you. What is it that makes Fall Guys so special? Is it the weird and wonderful costumes? That theme tune you just can't get out of your head? Or maybe it's powering past an opponent in the final moments to steal the crown, which I'd imagine feels pretty great. We think it's all of those things, but even more importantly, it's the players who have supported us along the way. As a thank you to all of our existing players, you'll all be receiving a legacy pack when free-to-play launches. But I hear you ask, what exactly is a legacy pack? Well, once again, we're going to head over to Austin, who's on the hunt.
Here
for
it
answers.
is. I think it's here anyways.
All right, thank you so much, El. I'm
Yep.
currently joined by Joe, the lead game designer for Fall Guys. How you doing?
Yeah, doing really good.
Good, good. We heard El talking about the Legacy Pack. So what made you want to introduce that into Fall Guys?
Yeah, so as we go free to play, it's really important for us to take a moment to kind of say thank you to everybody who's had the opportunity to support us this far. And so the Legacy Pack is like a really cool bundle of stuff that will be free to everybody who's had a copy of Fall Guys so far. And that's going to come with a bunch of really awesome stuff. So there's going to be 3 costumes in there. There's going to be the Regal costume, the Veggie Dog, and the Feisty Dwarf, which is highly requested on Twitter.
So here's what comes in this legacy pack. So this is for people like me who already have the game, and if you've at any point bought it on PlayStation up until this point, or if you've bought it on Steam at any point, you get these 3 new costumes. you get the season pass, and you get a special nameplate that's free falling. Now, the season pass thing we'll talk about here in a minute, because this is something I knew when the second they announced free to play, I knew was coming, but the costumes are whatever. You know, the veggie. I have the golden hot dog, so the veggie dog does nothing for me, honestly. But yeah, it's not. Let's continue.
I can assure you. And it's also going to come with free access to Season 1's Premium Season Pass, which is a new thing we're doing.
Okay, so Premium Season Pass.
Yep.
What is that?
So that's a new thing we're bringing to Fall Guys, which is essentially a supercharged version of the Season Pass that we've done in our previous seasons. It's going to be probably 100 tiers long, and it's going to be just jam-packed full of really awesome stuff. But it's also worth noting that the free Season Pass will still have loads of great stuff in, and even if you don't want to get the Premium Season Pass, there's still plenty of stuff for you to unlock.
Okay.
Okay, so what they're doing, and this is something I knew was coming. So there's going to be 2 season passes. The free one, which is, you know, the 50 levels, or it used to be 40, I think nowadays it's 50. 50 levels, you know, you go through the levels, you get experience, you go through the season pass. Okay, that's how the game has worked up till this point. That's not going away. But now there's going to be a second season pass with more stuff in it, right? More cosmetics and whatnot. And presumably, you know, more unlocks and whatnot, more emotes and nameplates and whatnot. That's going to cost money, but if you have the current version of the game, you get the first one for free. I knew this was coming from a mile away. And eventually, of course, I don't know, now we don't know how much these cost yet. I don't think, as of this moment, they've announced how much this is going to cost. I would be annoyed if it costed more than $10. Honestly, I'd say even if it costed even more than $8. I think that might be a little too much for me. Maybe. I don't know how, because I know Fortnite, there we go, I lost the name for a second there, also does a premium season pass. Okay, so you pay money for that premium season pass. I know they have also given them away in the past before. I know one of the fifth, was it the fifth one? The 5th Fortnite season pass was free. Right, I know they've done stuff like that before, so and I don't know if that's going to happen here. But yeah, I think the Fortnite ones are usually, like I said, like I think they're anywhere from like $8 to like $15. I don't think they're an insane amount, but I also don't think they're like nothing either. Now, so I have very mixed feelings on this because now that the game is free to, I've said before, I've defended Fortnite when it comes to the season pass. Like, if you have never owned Fall Guys before, if you have never played the game, I honestly think with this new free-to-play, this might be the perfect time to get into it because you've never invested money in the game. Or someone like me who got it free through PS Plus, I've also never invested money in the game. And I have said in the past, and I've even said this with Fortnite, that I am more willing to buy microtransactions in a free-to-play game as long as they're not bullshit. Especially because a game is free, if the game is good, and you know the developers seem good, I am more willing to give those developers money to support them. Right? I never played Fortnite all that much. I was a PUBG guy. But I was always fine with Fortnite doing its Battle Pass because it's a free-to-play game. Right? And that supports the developers. And yeah, I was way more willing to support the developers of a free-to-play game. Whereas when a game like PUBG did a Battle Pass, it was bullshit because you had to pay like $20 to own the game, or it was $25 or whatever. Right? But and if they had done this premium Battle Pass with the game still being $20, I'd be fucking pissed. But with the game now being free-to-play, that's fine, I guess. I don't know, and with the game once being purchasable but no longer being purchasable, I have kind of complicated feelings on it. Like, if you've never played Fall Guys before, then no, this is actually great for you, I guess, maybe. But if you have, but then again, I also have to take into account the past almost 2 years. It's been what, a year in like 9 months. Of fun I've already gotten out of the game, and would I say that was worth, what, the $20 the game costs? And I would say, yeah. So maybe I have gotten my money's worth out of it. So maybe it's also fine. Because I always had a problem, because Fall Guys already had microtransactions, right? Like, you could spend real money to get kudos. Not crowns, but kudos. But Fall Guys was a well enough designed game that it didn't, like, at no point did I ever feel like I needed to spend real money on kudos. If I saw a costume in the store that cost, like, let's say both pieces were 10,000, you could just play a few rounds and get that 10,000. It never felt unachievable to get the costume. Crown costumes were a little different, and yeah. But I've never, right, and that is something that worries me about it going free to play, is are you going to get less experience, and are you going to get less kudos, or whatever the currency is, now that the game is free to play? Because I know when Crash Team Racing, right, a game you had to spend money for, that then had like a battle pass or whatever bullshit in it, that had a premium currency, once the premium currency came to the game, they made it so that, like, let's say you won a race and you'd get like 100 of the currency, and you needed like 1,000 to unlock a new character. Once the microtransactions got added to Crash Team Racing, you would now only get 50 currency for winning a race. So, right, they made it harder to get money to encourage you to buy the microtransactions, which fucking ruined that game. And I'm worried Fall Guys is... I don't know if Fortnite does that. I don't know. I don't know if that's ever changed for Fortnite, because Fortnite was always free to play. But Fall Guys might be an example where we see that no, now that the game goes free to play, you're going to start winning less money per round, and you're going to start gaining less experience, which is going to, you know, make the battle pass a little harder. I think that is a real concern I do have. Are they a shitty developer like Activision Blizzard would totally do that. A shitty developer like Ubisoft also did that with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's just a question of, will Fall Guys and Epic Game Store do it? And at the moment, we don't know. Like, that's something that we won't know until the game releases in June.
Okay. Perfect, I'm following. With these great additions, are there any other new additions to the economy that are coming?
Yeah, so we're simplifying things a little bit. So you won't be able to spend your crowns in the store anymore, but instead we're bolstering crown ranks with a bunch of new awesome stuff to kind of supercharge that as well. And we're also going to be kind of updating the UI to be able to see all of the rewards that are laid out ahead of you in the new crown ranks too.
So then is anything happening with kudos?
Yeah, so kudos is staying, and all players will be able to earn kudos and spend it in the shop, which is really important. Players will also be able to exchange all of their unspent crowns into kudos as well as we go free to play. So if you were crown rich before, you're going to be kudos rich now.
Perfect.
Okay, one of the things I like about Fall Guys is that even though they had the kudos that you could spend real money to get the fake money on, there was no way to spend real money to get crowns, right? What was basically the premium currency in Fall Guys, you could only get by winning rounds. Later on, I think in Season 3, maybe even in Season 2, but I know definitely by Season 3, they had added it so you got crowns for doing the Battle Pass. So as you get into the Battle Pass or the Season Pass or whatever, you got crowns. So like every 5 stages, you got like a crown or 2. And that was fine, right? That's a fine feature because, you know, not every, they joked about Tim the Tatman earlier and how long it took him to win, right, all of his crowns and whatnot. But right now, they're basically removing crowns as a currency and they're putting more focus on the kudos. And that does make me worry that, again, same thing. Are we going to start getting less kudos? Is the game now going to push us more towards spending real money to get these kudos? There was always something special about crowns because you could only get them by winning, and now they feel less special. I know they're fixing up the crown ranks, and it's going to be nice to see the crown rank rewards, but that still comes at a cost. So I talked about, right, the Battle Pass gives you crowns. Are they going to be removing that? Because that was to get some of those crown rewards, you have to win, And there are some people who just never win, right? Who like the game and have just barely won any rounds. So are they now basically, like, is there no way for them to do anything? So, right, I think crowns, right, they're one of the things that made Fall Guys special, and now they're removing them, and I know they're trying to supplement it in other ways, but I don't know if that's good enough. But then on the other hand, a lot of the cooler costumes in Fall Guys, you could only get by spending crowns. Or by having crowns spin, and crowns are kind of hard to get. So having everything be in a kudos-based economy now, theoretically, that would allow more people to get some of the cooler costumes in the game. Of course, there is one other catch for that. I talked about how, rounds are now going to start giving you less money. There is also the possibility now that costumes are going to cost more. It depends. We don't know what the crown to kudos conversion is. But let's say one crown gets you 10,000 kudos. So does that mean that the costumes that cost 5 crowns previously now cost 50,000 kudos? Do you now get 10,000 kudos for winning a round? Or are they going to double it, right? Are costumes that would previously cost, right, again, 5 to 10,000, are those costumes now going to the costumes that would previously have cost 5,000, are they now going to cost 100,000 kudos? And to get the full set, you're going to need 200,000 kudos, right? Is that going to be the catch? Are they going to start making these costumes more expensive? Because that was always one of the... Because I think the most expensive Fall Guys costume was, for the complete set, was 5 crowns. It was 10 crowns, I mean. So the top piece was 5 crowns, the bottom piece was 5 crowns. And, maybe they'd have, like, a faceplate that was, like, a crown or 2. But now, are they going to start, like, making these more expensive? Because I would fucking hate that. Honestly, I think they are at a position here. They are at a junction to potentially destroy the in-game economy by trying to encourage players to get microtransactions. And that genuinely has me concerned. We don't have any of the answers at the moment. These are just concerns, but they're concerns because I've seen other mobile games do them. I said mobile games. I've seen other video games. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Crash Team Racing. Oh God, there was... I can't think of a third example. I even had my worries that when Fall Guys got bought out by Mediatonic, and then Season 4 happened, when Mediatonic got bought out by Epic Game Store, I worried that they had already made that change in Season 4 or whatever, right? I was worried that change had already happened. It looked like it appears like it didn't, but that was a big concern for a while. That was something like, you can go back and watch my stream when Season 4 came out, and that was a concern I did have.
that was my next question. I said, what happens to all my crowns?
Yeah, you're keeping them.
As long as I'm some sort of rich in the game, I'm fine. Is there anything else?
I'm not going to say I'm salty because, yes, I do. I think I currently have like 110 crowns in the game. I'm not salty because of that, right? Like, behind the scenes, all of those are still there. It's just, I don't know. Okay, we'll talk about it afterwards.
Else new coming in that you can talk about right now?
Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning that all of the content in the game, all of the rounds, all of the shows that you play is all going to be free for all players. We're not trying to split people up at all. It's really important that everybody gets to enjoy Fall Guys together. And also, we're going to keep running live events. All of the rewards are going to be free. Again, we want all players to be able to jump in and enjoy those things together.
So that's a good thing, right? Unifying the fan base, because this had been specifically Call of Duty, and I want to say Call of Duty Zombies specific. Was it I know Zombies did have this problem, but even probably just like when Call of Duty used to have these massive DLC packs, is it would split Call of Duty fans to those who had the DLC packs and those who didn't. So just not... That's one of the nice things about Fortnite Season Pass, was that you had all these cosmetics you had to spend money for, but actually gameplay-wise, nothing changed. I know Season Pass economies can be fucking bullshit. Again, I think Fortnite actually does it fine for the most part. But Fortnite has pioneered that you can do some of these things good. And yeah, so not splitting like gameplay stuff, great feature.
Yeah, it sounds like it's creating essentially a Fall Guys universe where new players can have fun with legacy players and vice versa.
Yeah, exactly.
So, essentially, to recap, what do we got? We got legacy packs, we got premium season pass, and we got the fact that we're going to be on all platforms. This is good stuff. So, Joe, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I know that everybody watching really appreciates it, and you and everybody on the team. This is great. Thanks for spending the time, man.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Shu Yoshida from PlayStation. I love Fall Guys. It was great to participate
Now,
in the
if I remember,
promotion
he
leading
actually
up to the
introduced
big
Fall
PS
Guys
Plus launch.
at a
I
PlayStation
enjoyed talking
at
about
like
Fall
one of the
Guys
PlayStation
in
like
events like the
no, at a Devolver
Direct
Digital
and the
Conference.
Summit.
They brought
When
him
the
out
game
to introduce
launched in
Fall
PS
Guys.
Plus,
Yep,
I played
that brings
the
me
game
back.
every morning, and when I won the crown or I was close, I posted the last 60 seconds of the round on my Twitter to share with the people. It was awesome to enjoy the game together with a huge community. I also loved how developer Mediatonic added new levels and character costumes. Especially I was excited to see people in cute little Aloy and Jin Sakai. Congratulations on the free-to-play launch. See you in Fall Guys.
Of course, we're not just getting ready to launch free-to-play. Oh no. Fall Guys is about to receive its biggest gameplay update ever. We're not quite ready to spill the beans on all of the details, but we wanted to give you a sneaky look at what's being worked on.
So I had predicted that season 5 or whatever, or what are we at season? This would have been what, 6 or 7? I don't remember anymore. I think this would have been 7. My prediction was it was going to be space, because they had been building up space as the next, right? They had been doing some in-game stuff that made me think space. No, this new season is Olympics, which I actually think is also a pretty decent theme. I think it's specifically called like the Blunder Dome, as they'll say here in a little bit. But yeah, no, it's space theme, or it's Olympics theme. I still think space would be a great theme, and I'm sure that'll come eventually. But no, I think Olympics is a fine theme.
I'm currently joined by Julian and Ben. We've got the art lead and the lead level designer for Fall Guys. Thank you guys for joining me.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you as well. Now,
and what did I
let's
say?
see
The
questions
new
here.
the
You guys are in
Xbox
charge of
and
very important stuff. So what can you guys
PlayStation
tell us
versions of the
about
game,
theme
or Xbox and
this
Switch
season
versions,
and
would
the
launch
feelings
with
that
the
you
new
wanted to kind of
season.
instill into people when they're playing it for the first time?
Well, for this season, we're going to be launching on all platforms. So all the Fall Guys in the world are coming together to their capital city, to the Blunder Dome, for a big old
Blunder Dome. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. So the levels will be in that stadium, and when I think of stadiums, I think of like big celebrations and live music and even some wrestling. So we wanted to get that atmosphere when you play the game.
Since you'll be in a stadium with all the other Fall Guys watching, I assume there's going to be some new obstacles too to create some hype in that stadium.
For sure. My favourites are the speed arches. As you run through, you build up speed.
That one is really cool. We wanted to invent a new sport as well. So these blast balls, they've got the smiley faces on, but you throw them at other beans and it will blast them away. And there's a new final round coming of that. So.
Nice. So there's smiley faces on the explosives.
Yeah, of course.
Good, good. What about new outfits?
Yeah, so costumes is a fantastic one. We've got the golden gladiator costume, which is really interesting. And also we've got this dragon, so you can have a...
Okay, so we know some of this stuff is in the premium season pass, right? Like, I'm pretty sure we know the dragon is in the premium season pass. I do wonder if right now there's like, you can spend like $5 to get a bunch of like free costumes. Usually I think it's 3 costumes or whatever. I wonder if that's going away. Like, are you no longer going to be able to buy those costumes? And instead, because they always saved the best costumes for those premium packs. You know, the burgers, the fries, the penguin. I'm wondering if all those costumes are just now in the premium season pass, and there's no longer costume packs. Again, it's give and take. I do think this dragon is cool, and I would love to see a team that's just, a 4-person team that's a dragon. I think that's actually a cool idea.
An end piece, which is the tail and the head, and then the middle piece. So
or just an entire 60-person lobby that's a giant dragon.
So
That'd
I'm
be
going
really
to
funny.
just really need to see on that first level all 60 people as one dragon.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Yeah, that would be really funny.
But since we're talking about all the new outfits and things like that, let's throw to a video to show just how far Fall Guys has come with all this.
Again, here's a little more of them jerking themselves off. But they have had some really cool costumes, you know? Yeah. You know me, I used to rock the Hotline Miami costume. Now I have the Bunger. Yeah, no, they've had some big crossovers, you know, they've had some cool costumes. Yeah, I think some of this stuff is cool. You know, that's cool.
All right, so with that video, obviously, bringing in new IPs is something that you guys love doing. So what's it been like bringing all of these big name IPs into Fall Guys?
I think it's been fantastic.
And
you know,
I like that while there are like the big IPs like
that,
Disney,
you know, we've grown
it's
up
a lot of
with,
indie
so
game
it's really
representation.
satisfying
And I like
getting
that.
into the game
Because
giving
they
them
were
that
originally,
Fall
again,
Guys twist
Devolver
in
Digital.
terms of the art as well. So,
and now
yeah,
they've got
really,
Epic
really
Game
good.
Store money.
Like being on the start line and you've got characters from all kinds of different shows all together. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. So you guys have already had some amazing collaborations. Anything that you can talk to me about that's upcoming?
Yeah, some we can talk about. Some are still a bit hush-hush. So at the moment we've got Ezio, which is going to be a really big one. We've also got Pasheen, and also we have Godzilla.
This. Oh, fuck this. And I'm not as like oh, fuck this. No, I'm like, oh my god, I'm so excited. If you don't know, I fucking love Mechagodzilla. I love Mechagodzilla so much. So a Mechagodzilla costume. Oh my god, that's so great. The other two are cool as well. But oh, you know me, I'm so excited. Oh, Mechagodzilla. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's gonna be cool. That's gonna be so cool.
I'm a fan of the Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, I'm Mothra myself, so yeah, okay. See who wins.
All right, so what other interesting things can you talk about with the upcoming free-to-play release?
In terms of collaborations, we've got some levels for the first time that are based around other IPs. It's been interesting turning that into new, fresh gameplay. I can't say too much, but you'll find out soon.
Nice. I like all.
That they kind of glance over it there, but the idea of them making specific levels for these IPs are actually like really cool. And like I could see them just being like, oh, we're gonna put a new skin on like a pre-existing level. Right, so like, oh, we're gonna do egg scramble, but instead of you getting eggs, you're collecting I don't know, oh gosh, what's the bugs? You're collecting Strabbies and a bug snack theme level, right? Stuff like that. Even if it's that simple, I actually think this is pretty cool. Right, doing collaborative levels, and of course they can go like bigger than that. Like imagine going through like Doom World and like a instead of like rising slime, it's rising lava as you go through like a Doom theme level. Like that'd be crazy, but that'd be cool.
All this, you're just putting a little bit of sauce everywhere.
An Assassin's Creed parkour level.
Well, Julie and Ben, thank you very much
Those
for
would both
joining
be
me.
cool.
Thanks for all the info, and we're gonna toss it back to you, El.
Hey friends. On behalf of the whole team at Epic Online Services, we're super excited to see Fall Guys using our crossplay services for this monumental launch. For us, the spirit of crossplay means connecting players across platforms so that all friends can come together, regardless of platform choices, hardware choices, or where you choose to play. For you Fall Guys players out there, that means that whatever platform you choose to play on, your Fall Guys progression and all your friends will follow you through your Epic accounts. Everyone gets to join the fun and no friends get left behind. Well, unless you get eliminated, of course. Boot up, invite some friends, and get ready to play.
So that is something I do like about the showcase. I always again, you know me, like I said earlier, I love crossplay. And something that I think I like in this showcase is the fact that all the studios are represented here. Yeah, would it have been again, I think it should have Steam, whatever, but like you have Xbox, you have Nintendo, and you have PlayStation representation all in this video. And that's just cool. Again, I think crossplay is one of the great things in modern gaming. And even though I have my problems with Epic and Epic Game Store, I really am glad they are on the front lines fighting for crossplay. Right? Because that is something that, well, yes, it definitely benefits Epic. It actually benefits consumers as well. So, yeah. Now, the whole lawsuit thing against Apple, whole other thing.
We hope that you enjoyed the show and, more importantly, that it has cleared up some of your questions and gotten you excited for our next season.
Elle, I thought we were going to tell everybody about the other thing.
What other thing?
You know the other thing.
Well, if you think they're ready.
Yes, of course they are. Look, so before we go, there's one last thing we want to show you, and I think that you're going to be very excited.
This is great. You know, it's something that makes sense. Being able to build your own levels, right? That's just a cool idea. It's not, this probably won't be ready for like a year. I mean, they'll probably do some beta testing, but I genuinely think this is a great idea. Like, that's gonna be, when that's done, that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, you saw it. That's right. The ability to build your own rounds is coming to Fall Guys.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do it.
And
I'm
you know,
so excited.
I've seen Fortnite added their custom build
I can
stuff
turn up some if you want.
into it, and they've done some great stuff with that.
Because,
so I'm sure
just
this
to
will
be
do some
clear,
great stuff.
This new mode is still a fair way from release.
Like I said, a year
We just
away.
wanted to hype you up, whet your appetites, and let you know just one of the exciting new elements we're working on.
And that really is all that we've got time for.
But don't forget to head to the website below to pre-register for free-to-play so that you can unlock all of those rewards when the game launches on, can I get a drum roll?
Oh, of course.
June the 21st.
And that, like I said, that's a month away.
Until next time,
That'll be here before we
see
know
you
it.
in the
Blunderdome.
Now, it is interesting.
Goodbye.
Bye.
One of the things that I do find interesting is they're restarting it at season 1. So we're not going back to like, oh well, here's right. This normally, I think this should have been season 7 if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think this would have been season 7. But since this is basically the relaunch of Fall Guys, they're basically soft rebooting the game. And as a result, this is, they've decided to go back for season 1. I don't, like, okay, I remember when Fortnite relaunched with season 2, and that was, like, a big deal. And honestly, that did get I even played Fortnite when it relaunched at season 2, for a little bit, for like a week or two. But, admittedly, I almost played Fortnite again when they got rid of building, because that was my biggest problem. I haven't, but I considered it. But no, I do think that this is actually, like, a good thing. Right. Wait. Let me correct my brain real quick. I do get why, right, going free to play, starting season 1, it makes sense. It creates more continuity. And it's not like they're forgetting anything that's happened previously. A lot of, like, the store costumes will still be available, hopefully in the store. It's not like everything's going out the window. But yeah, they're basically it's basically, part of it is kind of feels like they're like, oh, for the past year or so, year and like 9 months, we've been like beta testing the game, and now they're in full launch. But yeah. So God, we talked about this for a fucking hour. I knew that was going to happen, by the way. This 26-minute video we talked about for an hour. I'm going to go get some water real quick. And then when I get back, we will boot up the Fall Guys. We'll actually boot up the PS4 version. So yeah, you'll give me a minute on that one. But I will be right, because yeah, I drink all of my water right there. So yeah, you'll have to give me a minute, but I'll be right back. bonus coming soon. Get ready to celebrate the final week of season 6 with bonus fame. So does that just mean there's going to be like an extra fame thing? Huh, I don't honestly know. They brought back Glizzy. It's a gauntlet this time, and then free for all, of course. Yeah, sure. Squad show. So this is all about main shows and squad shows. Any costume that's good? Oops. Audio visualizer. Okay, whatever. So we can do it in either one. So, any final thoughts on the Fall Guys show? So if it wasn't clear from the past like half hour, in some ways I am like, no, I think this is good for the game. I am willing to cut them some more slack on some of this stuff. Because, well, yes, a premium season pass does worry me. I technically have never spent any money on this game. And, you know, sometimes it's good to support developers. Like, I'll use Bugsnax as an example. Bugsnax recently put out their DLC, the Isle of Big Snacks, which we will play on stream at some point, I promise. And when they put out Isle of Big Snacks, I was like, I'd happily pay money for that. Because I like the developers and I'm glad to support them. But no, they gave it away as a free DLC. And that kind of feels like we're in a similar-ish position now. Where it's like, okay, Fall Guys, I like the game. I've spent a lot of time in it. Now would be a good time to, you know, actually spend some money and support the developers. Right? I'd be happy to do so. Or at least, yeah, in theory I am. As long as they don't fuck it up, yeah, no, I'd be happy to buy a season pass and support the developers. If I liked Fortnite as a game, I probably would have been happy to spend some money on it and buy their season passes as well. Right? I just didn't. I was a PUBG guy, and then when PUBG added shit like that, I hated it because I spent money on PUBG to buy the game. I never bought one of their microtransactions or season passes or whatnot. So yeah, that's the thing. Now, there is something that I have heard about. I don't have a source for this, but so like kind of like how the game was being removed from Steam. I remember hearing somewheres that they're removing the game from Steam. But I had also heard, I guess in a similar interview, maybe not the same one, that, well, yeah, they're getting rid of... So crowns are no longer a currency. So they're getting rid of crowns as a currency in the new update. They're adding a new premium currency. So right now you have kudos, and everything can be done with kudos. I heard somewheres that they're adding a new... Right, they're replacing crowns, and they're making all of them convert to kudos, but they're going to be adding a new premium currency as well. Akin to V-Bucks, I think. I want to say it was called something like Fall Bucks or something like that. Do I have it written down? Okay, I don't have it written down. Let me look this up real quick. Let me look at this first. Oh, they're called Showbucks. Okay, okay, we'll read this article here in a second. This is by Joey Carr of what is this? Dude Sports? This is just the first article that popped up. I'll read this here in a second. This has potential. This has potential to be exactly what I thought. Honestly, because yeah, you know, them centralizing their economy, Fall Guys economy under one currency, is something I'm fine with. But if they're removing the premium currency of crowns that you could only earn, right, that you couldn't spend money, I guess they're not technically a premium currency, or I guess I don't know. It depends on how you define it. But right, crowns are something you can only earn, and if they're replacing it with these show bucks, that is something you can get only by spending money on. I'm gonna have a real fucking problem with that. Like, because again, that's microtransaction field. And I don't want, like, I'm fine giving them some money, right? Especially because if I like the game, you know, I think it's good to support the developers. But if they're gonna go power, grub money hungry, grub hungry, I'm gonna fucking hate it. Alright, so the article goes, the developers of Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, Mediatonic, announced a complete shift in the game's future. The shift is headlined by the game going free to play on all platforms, alongside the launch on Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and Epic Game Store. Starting June 21st, all players will receive a fresh batch of content with Season 1. This is the biggest content drop in the game's history, mainly centered around the new Season Pass. While the free path still exists, the new Season Pass can only be purchased with show bucks, a new form of currency. The old currency kudos isn't being eliminated. Players will have saved up their kudos, will still be able to spend it on in-game items from the shop, but show bucks are meant to be spent on purchasing the premium version of the Season Pass each season. In Season 1, the Premium Pass will include 100 skins and other unlockables through the 100 levels. If players make it through the entirety of the 100 levels, they will automatically receive the next Season Pass for free, eliminating the need to spend any more additional money on showbucks. The currency models for showbucks has not been revealed yet. It's unclear exactly. So from what it sounds like anyway. Okay, so that part about if you complete the Season Pass, you get the next one for free. I think that's also something Fortnite does. And I do feel like that's a good thing. I like the idea that in theory, if you have the game for free right now, you could continue playing it and never spend a single dollar on it. That is something I do think is in theory good. Right, like that, okay. And again, I think Fortnite does that as well. So the showbucks, it looks like you won't be able to buy any costumes with showbucks. From the sounds of this, the showbucks are a premium currency that are just used to buy the Season Pass. So presumably you'll be able to buy a Season Pass that will oh, and they also stopped selling kudos on the PlayStation Store. They might still sell them on Steam, I'm not sure, but they stopped selling them on the PlayStation Store. That happened like a week ago now. But yeah, no, so it does. So presumably, like this, you could buy showbucks, and then like presumably you'll be able to spend like I said like $10 to get a bunch of showbucks, and that gets you the Season Pass for whatever the currency, right? And it'll give you the exact amount you need or whatever. At least that's what it sounds like, anyways. And then there is not, because like if like the top row of costumes are like showbucks costumes or whatever that you can only get using these showbucks, that's gonna be fucking bullshit. Because normally the top row is the crown costumes. I mean, of course, not always, but yeah, no, there's gonna be some problems there. I also do wonder what they're gonna do with challenges, because like one of the nice things about challenges was basically as long as you completed your challenges for the day, you were basically guaranteed to get another level. Like, it was basically one level per day as long as you did the challenges. And I wonder, like, are they going to change that any? Oh, it's all... Okay, whatever. I don't know. That's just something that's just something I do think that I am thinking about. Same thing as, like, I'm worried about, like, them giving you less kudos per winning a round. I am also worried that they'll give you less experience per round. Even though Fall Guys added another 10 levels to the Season Pass, and I feel like that worked out really well, actually. And even though I've been able to get both the past 2, maybe even 3 Season Passes, I've been able to complete. Admittedly, this one I got to faster because of Double XP Weekend. But I do wonder if they're going to change that. And, like, I still want them to do Double XP Weekends and whatnot. That was a great... I think they did that originally at the end of Season 3, I think. And that was a great thing. Maybe it was Season 2. Kind of don't remember. I think Double XP Weekend, right, stuff like that. Now, I think in Call of Duty, Double XP Weekends are usually something you have to pay for, so, yeah, hopefully they don't do that. But yeah, this showbucks thing is something I'm worried about. But yeah, so it looks like we just know showbucks are used to buy this premium pass, and we don't know anything other than that. So there are a lot of unknowns, which I think, because, you know, part of this Fall Guys announcement was they wanted to add some transparency here. And I do definitely feel like we got some transparency, but they were also kind of sparse on some of these details. Some of these things I do have concerns over. So I'm sure we will find out in the coming weeks. And even beyond that, once the thing is out, we will know the truth. So, like, honestly, when I originally watched the presentation, I was very, like, split on it. Like, 50-50, I was kind of split on it. Seeing it again, and, you know, having some time to sit on it, having some time to digest it, I am actually more positive on this showcase now. Like, before, I was kind of like 50-50 split. Oh, depending on how this goes, I might give up on Fall Guys forever. And there's still that possibility. Like, I guess I'd say I'm now more like 75-25. But depending on how this ends up at the very end, like once this thing is out, I could still totally give up on Fall Guys. That's still totally a possibility. But I don't want to. I like the game. It appealed to me way more than Fortnite did. And I want to keep playing. I want to keep enjoying it. But we'll see when the update's a month away, and that really will be like the make it or break it thing, honestly. Is how, like, I'm sure the game will still play fine. It's just do the microtransactions and whatnot, or how they're doing it, how they're converting crowns. Will this all just ruin it? And I hope not. I do hope not, but honestly, anything is possible at this point. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, definitely I am more positive on it today than I was on Monday. On Monday, I was pretty like there's some problems here. But yeah. Let's move on to the next thing of the show. You know, we talked about Fall Guys for well over an hour. Next up, PlayStation Plus, or at least that's what I think it's called, PlayStation Plus Premium or PlayStation Plus Platinum or whatever the hell it's called. So we got a bunch of or is it PlayStation Plus Premium and PlayStation Plus Deluxe? And they basically revealed a list of games that are all of the games coming to PlayStation Plus at launch, or PlayStation Plus Premium. So if you have Premium or the Deluxe editions, these are all the games you could expect to get when that comes out, I think next month? And looking at the list of games, there are a fair bit of good games in here. You know, they're not all amazing, and like, of course there's nothing recent, like there's no Horizon Forbidden West. But there is some stuff like Spider-Man Miles Morales is on there. I'm pretty sure God of War is on there. There is some good stuff on there, right? It's not all a complete waste. There are PS3 games. I think there were original PlayStation games. And I want to say they even came out and said that like some of these older games are going to be getting trophies. So like there are games that are coming here that have never had trophies before that are getting trophies for the first time ever. Now I will admit the collection of especially PlayStation 1 games, PS1, PSX, whatever you call it, is kind of sparse. Like I think there's only like 10, 15 games. Like I feel like there were more games on the PlayStation Classic than there are on the new thing. But again, I know licensing and whatnot, and I know PlayStation actually did. The PS1 lived heavily on its third-party support. And there just doesn't seem to be that much third-party in this. It's most like, you know, it's games like Jumping Flash. PS3 seems to have a little bit more. It's not like an insane amount. Again, this is no rival. This is their rival to Game Pass, but I definitely feel like it doesn't compare to Game Pass. Especially like Game Pass has like a crazy amount of like indie game support and whatnot. And I just feel like this kind of doesn't have that. At least in the same level. I definitely do think it looks okay, but I'm also definitely not blown away by it by any means. Like, it just looks okay. So, I think it officially launches next month, and I think there were like 100 games in it. I think there were definitely a fair, like, it definitely wasn't like as minuscule, but it also doesn't have like everything. Like Game Pass would put like when like Starfield launches, Game Pass is gonna launch with Starfield. When God of War Ragnarok launches, this is not going to launch with God of War Ragnarok. That's just like a good way to think about it, I guess. I'm trying to pull up the tweet that had the list, if you give me a second. Or on my phone, anyways. Because I think I bookmarked it. Yeah, let's see. List of games. Alienation, Bloodborne, Concrete Genie, Days Gone, Dead Nation Apocalypse, Death Stranding, Demon Souls, Destruction All-Stars, Everybody's Golf, Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, Gravity Rush, Gravity Rush 2, Gravity Rush Remastered. Wow, we're already in the finale. Horizon Zero Dawn, Infamous First Light, Infamous Second Son, Knack, Little Big Planet 3, Loco Roco Remastered, Loco Roco 2, Marvel Spider-Man, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Matterfall, Medieval, Patapon, Patapon 2 Remastered, Resogun, Returnal, Shadow of the Colossus, and the list goes on. But yeah, there is some good stuff here. That's what I will say. It's not like they're putting nothing on this. And yeah, I know Spider-Man Miles Morales will be 2 years old later this year. And like, I don't know if they have anything that came out last year on this. But it's not like there's nothing on this, right? There are a fair few games. It's nothing mind-blowing, but it's also nothing like terrible or anything. Okay, where's it gonna fall? The other thing they announced, though, that I don't know if it's related to this. I don't know if it like has anything to do with the PlayStation Plus collection or anything, but it looks like they've also announced that Ubisoft Plus, which is the Ubisoft version of like Xbox Game Pass and EA All Access, is coming to the PlayStation Network. So currently, if you have Xbox Game Pass, you also have access to EA All Access. So basically every game on EA All Access is also on Xbox Game Pass, which is, in theory, kind of cool, actually. And it looks like the same thing might be happening with PlayStation. That if you have PlayStation, you might also be getting access to PlayStation, or to Ubisoft Plus. Or I think it's called Ubisoft Plus anyways. So that's actually that's a neat thing. Again, Ubisoft is the company that sexually and physically abused its employees. And maybe this is hinting at... Because I know Ubisoft is currently trying to get bought out by a different studio. So maybe this is leading somewheres with that. I am amazed I recovered from that. Okay, I'm going to focus here real quick. Oh, fuck. Oh, we were so close there. Yeah, that guy, of course he kept grabbing me, and I was like, I'm not going to take the plunge with you, man. But yeah, so now we don't know if this Ubisoft Plus is also coming, right, if it's part of this premium, if it's part of PlayStation Plus Premium or PlayStation Plus Direct. At least every article I read about it made it sound like it was just coming to the normal PS Plus. There might be some sort of other catch to that, but at least everything I read made it seem like they were, right, separate, right, that they were, that it was it wasn't like a separate thing. Oh, gotta reach around 4, okay. Do I actually have that pulled up anywhere? Are these... Oh, no, these are PS4 games. Yeah, there are... On the PS1, There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are only 10 games from the PS1 coming to this. So that's not much at all. To this PS Plus Premium or PS Plus Plus Deluxe, whatever. Whatever it's called. I don't remember. And I'm pretty sure it's Ubisoft Plus is coming to PS Plus and not coming to PS Now, because, again, PS Now technically doesn't exist anymore. I don't know. I'm sure there's some sort of catch. God, I wish Ubisoft wasn't a shitty studio. Because there are some Ubisoft games there are some Ubisoft games I would love to play, because I did like Ubisoft as a studio. But I haven't touched a Ubisoft game in years, and I don't plan on it anytime soon. Even if they get bought up like PlayStation, if they unionize, that'd be nice. Again, I think they're a French company. But, they get taken to court and all the Guillemots get kicked out and whatnot. Alright, correction, I know they're a French company. But, fuck Ubisoft, man. God damn it. Their studio, I do like their games, and they just have to be such shitty fucking, It drives me crazy. Let's see, next up, we have, a related PlayStation story. They announced the return of PlayStation Days of Play. So, PlayStation Days of Play is the PlayStation event where you can get, a bunch of... It was originally an E3 event where you could get a bunch of discounted games. You could get a special edition console, like, you could get a special edition... they used to have special edition PS4s, and I think maybe discounts on, like, controllers and whatnot. And so it looks like Days of Play is back. So Days of Play... I don't know if it happened last year. I know it didn't happen 2 years ago. At least I'm pretty sure it didn't. But because PlayStation hasn't been involved in E3 in a hot minute. Maybe since 2019. But I still swear, even after they left E3, they still did Days of Play. But no, PlayStation has announced they're doing Days of Play. It actually starts May 25th, which is Wednesday. So it starts in just a few days. Like, it's right around the corner. We don't know any of the details on, like, what's coming in the Days of Play, like, what they're going to be selling and whatnot, what's going to be on sale. Even though I use the PS5 nowadays, I do actually want to get a new PS4 controller because mine has drift on it. And while I doubt they'd probably only be selling PS5 controllers, it'd be nice to get a new PS4 controller that doesn't drift, That'd be nice, because long story short, I know people who will play PS4. And as far as I know, they don't sell PS4 controllers anymore. Or at least, like, I went, like, you'd think, like, big box stores, like your Walmarts and your Best Buys would still, like, have them on, like, clearance. Because, again, not that many people have a PS5. In fact, this was a story that came out over the weekend. I don't have it anywhere in here. But the PS5 was outsold by the Xbox Series S in Japan. So yeah, the Xbox Series S sold better in Japan than the PS5. Which I think is wild to think about. But it did happen. Oh, come on, I'm trying to get on that. Whatever. But yeah, so PlayStation State of Play, Days of Play, whatever. It's coming. It'll be here in just a few days. Hopefully it'll be some good sale or something, When it happens, it happens. But yeah, that just got announced real quick, so I thought I'd mention that real quick. Will it be a chance to get a PS5 if you've been looking for one? Potentially. I could potentially see them being like, every day during Days of Play, we're going to be putting up the PlayStation Store, and you'll have a chance to enter the lottery to get a PS5. I could, not to get one for free, but get a chance to buy one. I could see them doing that. So that would make sense. Does that mean we're going to get a PlayStation Showcase anytime soon? Probably not, because, you know, more companies have been announcing their showcases. Microsoft, Summer Games Fest. I want to say another studio announced their showcase. I know Wholesome Games Direct announced their thing, but I want to say that's later this month. The Wholesome Games showcase. But Nintendo still hasn't said anything yet, and that's kind of the one everyone's kind of waiting to see on what Nintendo's going to do. Because really, that would kind of confirm anything. Because right now, it kind of, like, there's definitely that feeling of, like, Summer Games Fest is replacing E3, but having Nintendo just do something on, like, the week of, so having Nintendo do a showcase on, like, the 13th or the 14th would actually kind of be cool. Right? That would still, they do it on the 14th. That was always their day, that Tuesday. It'd be cool. Next up, so there were some Silent Hill rumors that came out this week. There were specifically 3 things that they were all connected. The first one is a remake of Silent Hill 2 done by Bloober Team. So Bloober Team did Layers of Fear, I think? Did Bloober Team do The Evil Within? I'm pretty sure, I'm like 90% sure they did Layers of Fear. So yeah, Bloober Team, the team that did Layers of Fear, is doing a Silent Hill 2 remake. And in theory, I'm actually interested in that. Because Silent Hill 2 is regarded as like one of the best games of all time. Kind of like, you know, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. But yeah, Silent Hill 2 is highly regarded. And they technically did like a re-release of Silent Hill 2 a few years back. But it wasn't good. Like, at all. Like, it got rid of, like, fog and whatnot. It was just kind of a mess. So it would be cool to have a properly done remake of Silent Hill 2. Because I've never played it before, and I'm pretty sure getting a copy, even though I have a PS2, getting a PS2 copy is like $150 or whatever. It's pretty expensive to get a copy nowadays. And of course, yar har shiver me be. But, I do actually want this to be right. This seems real. I know they reached out for Bloober Team for a statement, and Bloober Team said we have nothing to share at this time. That doesn't confirm or deny anything, you know. It does sound like this is real, and yeah, I want this to be a genuinely good remake of Silent Hill 2, because people really like Silent Hill 2, and I would like to play it at some point. There's also the second part of this rumor is that Annapurna is doing an episodic Silent Hill series. So, you know, it's gonna be episodic, like your Life is Strange's or your other episodic games, of which I can't think of any at the moment, but I know they exist. Annapurna is a studio that has some good games behind it. You know, I'm sure they could do fine. Again, as long as it's not Konami themselves making it, I'm sure this will all work out fine in the end. Because, you know, Konami's a fucking shitty studio. That's why I'm more interested in a Silent Hill 2 remake, because I know an actual competent developer is working on it, like Bloober Team. And yeah, having Annapurna do a Silent Hill game, that would also probably be fine. And then finally, there is a new the third part is a new mainline Silent Hill game that looks to be internally developed by Konami. At least if this rumor didn't name any studio. So it'll probably be internally developed by Konami, because I think Konami still has internal developers that work on things other than slot machines. Yeah, because they did Contra Rogue's Core and Metal Gear Survive, which this game's gonna be fucking garbage. Metal Gear Survive was garbage. Contra Rogue Core was garbage. This is going to be garbage as well. This new mainline game, no, who cares? I doubt that it'll be good. But a remake of 2, no, that has potential. That could pay off. But yeah, those are the 3 Silent Hill rumors. I do believe them. This is technically, some of these things have been rumored for a while now, but they got reconfirmed this week. And I have no reason not to believe them, is the thing. So yeah, it'll happen, you know, when it happens. Okay, I'm gonna focus here for a second. Yeah, you know, maybe if I had done a little better at the lily pad right there at the end, instead of missing it, but even still, probably not. It would be nice to win a mainline show. At least try. Reach around for a main show. So the only one we have left in this one is just to win a main show, which easier said than done. Okay, win a main show, squad duos, and squad show. So I guess let's move over to squad duos now. I haven't played squad, or you know, let's do squad show. I haven't done squad show in a while, or I haven't done squad duos in a long time. Next up, we got our first trailer for She-Hulk Attorney at Law. So, as I've said before, I have not read that much comics, right? I do not read the comics. I should do more. And I am actually, I actually picked up some Fantastic Four comics, because I have never been a fan of Fantastic Four, but someone was like, oh yeah, this is a really good Fantastic Four storyline. I recommend it. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'll pick them up and I'll get around to reading those. So if in like, kind of like what I did for Miss Marvel. So if in the coming weeks I talk about Fantastic Four, don't be surprised. Because I'm currently I'm gonna start working on that soon, probably next week. But I have read some She-Hulk. Mostly some modern stuff, but I have read a little bit of She-Hulk. And yeah, no, I kind of like She-Hulk. What I like about She-Hulk, and I'm pretty sure the show's going to go into this, is what makes She-Hulk interesting. Well, okay, let's start with the Hulk. So the Hulk is, right, he's gamma radiated guy, and the angrier he gets, the stronger he gets. Okay. What makes She-Hulk interesting is that she has all the powers of the Hulk, but with none of the drawbacks. So, right, she gets all, like, the strengths of the Hulk, right, she's stronger, faster, whatever, but it doesn't, right, she just gets those powers. There's no cost, there's no drawback. It's not like, I'm sure, like, if she gets angrier, her powers do get stronger, but, like, she just gets, it's like, there's, like, the Smart Hulk, right, where it's all the powers of the Hulk with the intelligence of Bruce Banner. She-Hulk is just in that state by default. And, like, I think even Stan Lee has said that what made She-Hulk one of his, like, I want to say he even said, like, one of his favorite characters to write was that she got all the powers of the Hulk with none of the drawbacks. And that's what I'm because, like, Bruce Banner in this trailer, he says, like, oh, well, the Hulk is powered by anger and fear. And, right, Jennifer Walters responds with, well, that's just the daily life of a woman. So I really do want them to keep that, right, to keep that present in the show, that, like, she gets all the powers of the Hulk with none of the drawbacks. And I know, Smart Hulk, but yeah, you get my point, right? That's what makes Jennifer Walters interesting, at least in that level, is that. The show does seem to be more comedic, right, and I'm all aboard for a more, because I know She-Hulk is funny. She was doing fourth wall breaking literally like 20 years before Deadpool was, right? It's always been like a more lighthearted comic. They're clearly going into like her sexual life with her right at the end of the trailer picking up that guy and then literally picking him up, right, doing the Tinder dating stuff. That seems good. It is one of the writer, the creator, right, the creator of the show, the main lead, whatever, however you want to put it, is worked on Rick and Morty, specifically one of the writer who did the Pickle Rick episode. You know, funniest shit I've ever seen, Pickle Rick? Yeah, it's that same person. So that could actually be really cool. I don't know. I have my hopes that if they play it fun and they play it lighthearted, you know, you could get something good out of this, right? You could get, like, you know, okay, because part of what I want is for the final, like, you know, like all Marvel shows end with this big final battle, right? Wanda versus Agatha Harkness, Khonshu versus the alligator, whose name I don't remember. Right, the big battle at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Right, all these things end, all these shows end with like a big battle. Except for Loki. Loki is the one exception where it's all the finale. They do all the big CGI battle in the second to last episode, and the last episode of Loki is just talking. What I want from this show, what I want from She-Hulk, is I want the final episode to be a court case. Because the show is literally called She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Great name, by the way. Great choice. But I want the final... Because one of the She-Hulk comics I have read is the one where she plays defense attorney to Captain America against the prosecutor, Daredevil, right? Matt Murdock. Of course, he's not like wearing the Daredevil costume, at least not until the end. But right, because basically Captain America is in trouble for basically murder, and it's a little bit more complicated than that because it's something that happened in the 40s and yada yada yada. But, right, that's what Captain America's in trouble for, and She-Hulk is defending her. And that's kind of what I want them to do with this. I want the final episode to be a courtroom drama with She-Hulk versus Matt Murdock defending. And it doesn't have to be Steve Rogers. Like, I know they're doing Titania as the villain, played by Jamil Jamal. So that, it could maybe have something to do with that. I don't know. There's a million ways to play this. But yeah, I want the final episode to be like this big like courtroom drama thing. But I want them to play up the comedy. And that seems to be like what they're doing with the trailer. Of course, everyone has pointed out in this trailer, the big problem is the CGI. That the CGI on She-Hulk does not look great. I do not think it is like, some people are acting like it's the worst thing ever. Which, to be fair, they always do with CGI. I do not think this is the worst thing ever. I have seen CW shows, specifically Arrow and The Flash, that have much worse CGI than this. But, of course, it's not on par with something like Thanos and Infinity War, which it was never going to be on par with something like Thanos and Infinity War, because this movie doesn't have the same budget as Infinity War. They probably didn't hire as skilled VFX artists. They probably, they paid a little less to get less artists and whatnot. Because, again, this is a TV show. But I do not think it looks terrible. I know nothing about CGI. I have seen a fair chunk. I'm sure I'm way out of date now of Corridor Digital's good and bad CGI thing, and I do wonder, like, I know they're going to say it's bad, but I do wonder their take on this. But even more than that, I remember one of their big things that we're talking about is what makes good CGI, especially like on a face, is the lighting. Right? Lighting is what matters with good CGI. Like, making sure the shadows are correct. And I'm wondering if, like, maybe that, like, because there are some people who have said that, like, oh, well, this isn't this is just the trailer, this isn't the final product, it'll probably look better once it's fully released. And while I can definitely think of video games where the pre-release trailer looked worse than the final product looked better, I can also think of the exact opposite, Watch Dogs, but I can't, Pokemon Legends Arceus. I think the final game looks way better than the initial trailers, but it doesn't look insanely better. So even though I know She-Hulk doesn't come out until August, I don't think they're going to be able to do, like, crazy things to make it look insanely better. It might look a little better, but not by much. Honestly, I don't think they can change that much. Unless they delay it, which I don't think they will. I mean, they could. It's the MCU. They can do it in whatever order. Yeah, I don't think it's going to look insanely better. God damn it. I have seen the theory for the She-Hulk show that it takes place during the blip, or the snap, or whatever. So, right, in that 5 year... So far, not a single Marvel property has been set in that 5-year gap. Not a single one. Well, okay, you know what? I'm not counting Endgame, right? Endgame is when they fix it. It would actually be very cool to see a show, right? This show from a lawyer that takes place during that 5-year gap. And the main reason people think that is because, at the end of Endgame, when Bruce snaps, it destroys his arm. And even though in Shang-Chi, Bruce is back to being Bruce instead of the Hulk, he's still wearing like a sling. Like, it's still clear that his arm is still injured. And so, but in the She-Hulk trailer, he doesn't have an injured arm at all. So the theory is that this takes place during the blip, and that it has something to do with that. And I think that that's actually potentially really cool. There was this whole thing on TikTok I saw a while ago where people were like, you know what would be really cool for Marvel to do? Get a bunch of like small-time indie like people and just have them make TV shows set in the MCU with no superheroes that are about like what happens in the MCU. So, right, like a show that's all about like a construction, but it's, damage control or whatever, or like a show that's all about just like how normal people lived during the 5 years of the blip. No superheroes, nothing like that, just how normal people survived during the blip. And I do think that is interesting. It'll probably never happen, but just like taking someone who had like an idea for a show and then just setting it in the MCU, that could be cool. I don't know, it's just an idea. But no, I do think there is credence to this. Of course, Marvel has lied in trailers before, but right? They lied about Thanos having the Infinity Gauntlet in it and Infinity War. They lied about basically the entire plot of Multiverse of Madness. Because if you watch the Multiverse of Madness trailers, interestingly enough, a lot of the dialogue in the Multiverse of Madness trailers that Doctor Strange delivers is actually delivered by Wanda in the final movie. So, yeah. But no, I really want them to do She-Hulk well. It's funny, I used to say when it comes to the MCU, I like the MCU. When it comes to anything else comic book related, I'm a bigger fan of DC. But I do think I'm now reaching the point where I have read more Marvel comics than I have read DC comics. It's pretty tight. It's pretty tight all the way around. But I do definitely feel like I'm getting there, if anything. Just something I was thinking about while looking through this Fantastic Four stuff. But yeah, She-Hulk, it's in August. I think the next Marvel show is in June with Miss Marvel. I think Miss Marvel starts in mid-June, so right around the corner. Next up is Death Stranding. Death Stranding 2 specifically. So in an interview recently, Norman Reedus basically straight up said that they have begun production on Death Stranding 2. So yeah, that was just in an interview. So now that's basically confirmation that Death Stranding 2 is coming. And Hideo Kojima put out a tweet today, which is Norman Reedus on his knees and Hideo Kojima behind him with the oh god, what's its name? Negan with the baseball bat with the barbed wire wrapped around it, right? As if he's going to execute him for leaking this information. Yeah, okay. Death Stranding 2 is happening. It makes sense. People had wondered if Hideo Kojima was going to work on another game first, but doing Death Stranding 2 does make logical sense. Norman Reedus is, he's whatever. But yeah, no, I do genuinely find this interesting. But yeah, I still haven't played Death Stranding. It's funny because it's one of those games where I was gonna pick it up, and then they announced the definitive edition, and so I'm like, oh, I guess I'll now wait for the definitive edition to go on sale. Same thing happened with Persona 5. I picked up Persona 5, and then like the next week they announced Persona 5R, and I was like, I guess I'll wait for Persona 5R to go on sale. I don't think Persona 5, because Persona 5 is now no longer available on the PlayStation Plus collection. Because yeah, there was a time where you could get it for free. Yeah, that's no longer the case. I think that ended earlier this month. And I don't think it's on this PlayStation Premium thing. But yeah, just something to point out. But yeah, so Death Stranding, yeah, that technically Hideo Kojima like didn't confirm it, but just the way this joke is structured and like the way these pictures came out, it definitely makes it feel that way. So yeah, that's a whole thing that's happening now. Get the... Oh my god, oh... Why my own guy was stopping me there? God, you guys are idiots. I got it. Just let me go. I got this. You can go back and get the next one. God, yeah, we're losing. Oh God, right, God damn it. Okay, we're getting our asses kicked, but it's not unrecoverable at the moment. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's unrecoverable at the moment. A goal. I bet they got a goal. Like, I don't know. Our team fucking sucked, honestly. Like, I'm sure I didn't help out that much, but they literally took the ball from me once or twice. I was trying to hold back the guys, and they just didn't do anything. We could have had that. Allergies are still the worst. So, I guess let's get into Wibby now, shall we? I should have moved over to duos, whatever. So, I have not played any video games this week. I played, I technically played Wii Sports. I did some more bowling, you know. I still haven't been able to break my 258 or whatever my highest is. I played against someone online who almost had a perfect game. Like, they did insanely well online. It's the highest score I've seen in Wii Sports up to this point. But yeah, other than that, I played a little bit. It's gone okay, you know, still working away at it. Still, I enjoy it well enough. I know it's one of those games that, like, people are like, oh, people play it for a week and then they forget about it, but yeah. I'm enjoying it at the moment, and so what? I can guarantee you it's going to be in the exact same position Mario Striker's in. We've been getting more trailers for that. I just don't care. Honestly, I do not plan on picking up Mario Strikers. Even if it's fun, it's just not for me. Honestly. Simple as that. But, so while I haven't been playing much videos game, I have been watching some TV and some other stuff. So I've been working on a few things for a while now. The first thing we're going to start off with is Ranking of Kings. So I had mentioned a few weeks ago, actually, that I was watching Ranking of Kings. And then I just kind of forgot to talk, because like I finished it like that week. When we talked about it last. And I just completely forgot to talk about it. Hey, Twerny. How you doing? So yeah, I'd been watching Ranking of Kings, and I'd been watching it, and I finished it like that week, and I just completely forgot to talk about it. So now we're gonna talk about it a little bit. So what did I think about Ranking of Kings? I liked it. I think it's fine. Definitely not what I was expecting. I'll say that. Because based on how the internet's been talking about Ranking of Kings, I thought it was going to be like this really like wholesome show. And there are some wholesome elements, like the main character, Boji? It's not Benji, it's Boji. Boji, the little spot guy whose name I don't remember, the bird mom, right? There's some really wholesome stuff in it. So there's some fun characters when he goes to the underworld and he gets trained. That's good. I do like that. But honestly, it's not the show I was expecting. With a title like Ranking of Kings, where they talk about, right, like, they talk about, like, there's this tournament to determine, like, who is the best ruler, who is the number one in the Ranking of Kings. That's what I was expecting the show to be about. It's about the Ranking of Kings. The main character, right, in the first or second episode, the main character's father dies. So I was expecting it all to be about... Yeah, have a good day as well. I was expecting it to be about the Ranking of Kings, right? The main character is the newly crowned prince, and he's now competing in the Ranking of Kings to be the number one ranked king. And no, that's not what it's about. Well, first of all, the main character gets ousted from his position in the throne. Like, basically, there's a coup against him, and he gets ousted from the throne, right? Even though his father, like, decrees him as the next one to, like, take over the throne, that doesn't happen. Instead, his brother does. So yeah, that happens very early on. But, and then yeah, he leaves, he fumbles around for a little bit, eventually he goes to the underworld, because he almost gets because there's an assassination attempt against him. But yeah, no, it's not about him, like, being the number, like, you could think of it, like, I was like, oh, he's gonna be, like, because the main character is both, he's deaf, because he's supposed to be, like, a giant, but he's deaf, he's, I know he's weak. I swear there's like one other thing about him. He's one step away from being the pinball wizard, basically. But, and now the reason you find out, like, because, right, he's the son of a giant, and yet he's so small, you actually find out why that is. And that was a moment where I was like, oh shit. Because yeah, there's this whole conspiracy, because even though I thought it was going to be about like this little king who everyone was like underestimating, but then he was going to climb to number one on the Ranking of Kings. And that's just not what happens at all in the show. But because there's this whole conspiracy to, you know, overthrow him from the throne, but because there's Miranjo, I think it is, who was like the king's. They treat her like a bunch of different things. She was like the king's most like loyal subject, but she was also kind of the king's daughter in a way. It's a little complicated. But she literally brings the king back from the dead by implanting his soul inside Boji's brother. So like there's this whole thing about that. Miranjo is actually a pretty good villain in my opinion, because she starts off as like the mirror in the wall, right? She's the mirror, like who's the fairest of them all style, giving I want to keep calling him the older brother, technically he's the younger brother, giving him advice, and it's like really interesting and kind of compelling. And yeah, I really do like that. That's like, I would argue she's the best part of the show. Well, okay, yes, Boji is really wholesome and it's really cute at the end of the day. But yeah, I would argue she's probably one of the most interesting things. which is why she gets like so much screen time in the show, you know. But yeah, so the ranking, and then the ranking of kings thing, they don't, like, at the end there is talk about how, like, the ranking it seems to be like there are people who like do the ranking and it like drives them insane, because like everybody, you get like a wish when you do the ranking, and your wish, like the thing people wish for or the item they take drives them mad. Because I'm pretty sure they never, because this is a show that needs more seasons, obviously, or, you know, to read the manga. But I'm pretty sure they're building up anyways. Because there's this whole thing in the show where there was a war with the gods, and that, right, the men of, like, this wizard village where Miranjo is from fought the gods, and they lost. But since the gods were in a weakened state, they created the ranking of kings to stop any one person from becoming too powerful and thus attempting to overthrow the gods again. At least that's where I'm guessing it's leaning, because at the end, the king of the underworld takes the position of the highest rank to save his brother, who is cursed with immortality. And there, you meet a king at one point who was number 1 ranked, and then went mad and slaughtered his family and whatnot. It's interesting. It's an interesting show. It's just not what, for a show called Ranking of Kings, and the way people are talking about it on the internet, it's just not what I expected. That's not saying it's bad. Like, I do like it. It's just not what I expected, you know? Yeah, it definitely, it does that thing where it's like, I think I saw this on 4chan first of any place. Not that I used, like, I saw someone, you know, tweeted it or put it on Twitter, but it was a repost of a 4chan post. Because I don't use 4chan. No, I'm good. Because as someone once, right, there's a bunch of funny green text posts on 4chan, but if you actually go on 4chan looking for the funny green text posts, you're not going to find it. You're just going to find videos of people getting decapitated, right? But, so there was a 4chan post that once pointed out that, like, back in the day, a hero would fight an evil witch and then defeat her by killing her. Nowadays, a hero fights an evil witch, makes her good, marries her, and then has kids with her. Right? And that's just like that's just how storytelling has changed over the years. And yeah, that's kind of like what they do with, like, Miranjo back in the day. Like, yeah, she definitely would have been the evil witch who gets killed. But not in this show. Right? Because it ends, spoiler alert, with after the father dies and everything, the brother, the younger brother, agrees to marry her. And that's kind of where the show ends, you know? Like, it definitely feels like there's more to it than that. And, like, there's going to be more that comes in the future. But at the moment, no, it just kind of ends on that. It ends at 23 episodes, which I found interesting. Like, most shows, most animes are, like, 12 episodes with an OVA, or 24 episodes. No, this one's 23. Strange. But no, I liked it. Definitely not what I was expecting, but I liked it. And I'm sure there are other animes I need to watch. Like, I'm waiting for Spy X Family, or whatever we call it. Spy Family, Spy X Family. I don't actually know what we call it. I'm waiting for that to finish up before I watch it. I realized that Data Live Season 4 is currently airing, which I had no idea about. But that'll be cool when that happens, eventually. All our hopes is on this Glizzy. It's weird that in Fall Guys they call other costumes Glizzies, when the real Glizzy, like from the TikTok meme or whatever, is a hot dog. But no, instead Glizzies are just anything golden in Fall Guys. God, there are a lot of good people this round. being nice, but I don't... Yeah, no, they're... Of course I got out. He's terrible. I wonder if there is, yeah, a certain strategy to this. Because he seems to be staying up front, which seems to be working out pretty well. Oh, come on. Gate in the park. I'm rooting for you. Did they ever add back... I wonder if... So, Fall Guys. I wonder if adding back in Steam names. Because one of the things is... At least... Did they ever add back in Steam names? Or... Because I know they had to remove Steam names because people were editing the text. I wonder if they're going to add back in. Now that they're on Epic Game Store, are people going to be able to use, like, their Epic Game Store names? Are they still going to have the custom names? I wonder. I really thought the hot dog had it, because they looked at one point where they like tripped up. But nope. God, it gets so fast. Yeah, you just occasionally see the get swiped, and then he just sets back. Yeah, they're both really good. Jump Showdown is so stressful. Honestly, I've only ever won it like once or twice, but it's so stressful. Oh my gosh. And I've never had a game last this long. Oh, yeah, eventually after a while it just declares them both the winner. Cool. Coolio. Add that win to the screenshots. And that actually gets us a crown. Because by winning that, we get the crown for... God, you gotta win squad showdowns 2 times. Because, yeah, we had, I think, 41. So, yeah. Cool. 164 crowns. So I've only spent 50 crowns, wow. Well, a little more than that, yeah. So I guess let's switch over to duos for a little bit. Alright, next up, so if you don't know, back in the day, before I was doing like Twitch every week and whatnot, I was reviewing cartoons. Right? I was doing Steven Universe. I was reviewing Steven Universe and Star vs. the Forces of Evil. Though I was doing that not on like a weekly basis, because, you know, sometimes you have off seasons. And I only ever did like 2 episodes of Steven Universe Future. I only ever did like 2 episodes of the final season of Star vs. the Forces of Evil. But while all of those shows were airing back in the day, there was a bunch of other shit I just completely missed. Another one we'll talk about next. But there was a bunch of stuff I just completely missed. And stuff that I've always wanted to go back and watch and whatnot. But I found out there was one of them that I had never even heard. This was like 2 weeks ago now. There was one of these shows that I had never heard of before. It was airing on Disney XD around this time. And just somehow, I had never even heard of it. And it's called Penn Zero, Part-Time Hero. And so I heard about it like 2 weeks ago. I heard about it for the first time ever. And I was like, oh, that seems... So it's about... The story follows Penn Zero. Which I was wondering, like, how do you get a name... Like, okay, I get Penn Zero Part-Time Hero rhymes. But, like, how does he get a name like Zero for his last name? And you find out it's because the family has failed 0 missions. But so just hearing the concept of this show was what got me interested in it. So he's like, he's like a normal, I think he's like 14 years old. He's a high school kid. And he works for, it's not even like a department. He just works for someone called Phyllis. and they work out of a theater called the Odyssey, which, okay, I get that. That's a clever name because it's all about them being heroes. So the theater is the Odyssey, right? The journey. Okay, that's kind of whatever. That's kind of clever, I guess. Okay. And they have an interdimensional, like, projector that sends them to other worlds where they then fill in as the hero and, like, do whatever the hero's, like, tasked to do. So, like, maybe the hero is, like, a knight who has to, you know, defeat, like, an evil wizard or whatnot. And so that's their quest. They're basically filling in for heroes and doing that hero's job. And, you know, there's some lighthearted stuff. There's some goofy stuff in there. It can get serious, but, it, you know, it's mostly plays it light. There's a lot of parodies in there. Like, but they're all... One of the things I do like is that even though they parody a lot of stuff, it always comes with, like, some sort of twist. Or maybe they're parodying, like, multiple things at the same time. So, like, there's one episode where they parody Game of Thrones. So they do a Game of Thrones parody, but everybody in the Game of Thrones world, they're not just, like, normal knights. They're rock, paper, scissors. So, like, the main character is a piece of paper. And they're trying to defend against, like, scissor people. And to defeat the scissor people, they need the help of the rock people. Right? It's stuff like that. And I just think that's very cool. Right? Like, that's interesting. There's an entire episode that's a Tom and Jerry parody. But instead of, you know, just being like Tom and Jerry in a house, they're in the middle of deep space. They're basically in the setup to Xenoblade Chronicles X. And then halfway through, they reveal that the villain, who is, Tom, is actually a cyborg. And it becomes a Terminator parody. And it becomes, Jerry versus the Terminator. And it's still a cat. But, it does shit like that. And there's just a bunch of episodes like that. That are just like, oh, we're going to parody something. Or we're going to do a twist on something. But then we're just going to throw in, like, some other sort of catch to it. Or then there's just some weird episodes. Like, there's one where they're all, like, sports equipment. So, like, they're all, like, the main character's like a tennis ball. And he's fighting against, like, hockey sticks and whatnot. And, like, the princess of the land is, like, a bowling ball who's in love with a pool, and 8-ball. And there's stuff like that. They do a time travel in that same episode where they're balls. Well, actually, there's two, because they revisit a few worlds. They do time travel, right? They do Back to the Future stuff in that episode as well, or at least the second time they do the ball world. There's a superhero world, and of course, like any show with a superhero, you gotta get Adam West, right? You know, Adam West, I know he was typecast as, you know, 60s Batman. But he must have had, because he had a constant supply of work. Any kids show that wanted to do a parody of superheroes, Adam West was right there, and he must have done it for like 30 years. Of course, he was also the mayor in Family Guy. But yeah, no, he's great. May he rest in peace. But yeah, it's just like immediately you hear his voice, and it's like Adam West had a pretty good thing going. Part of me, of course, does wonder if he resents being typecast like that. But at the same time, it was cool seeing him there. There's a bunch of other stuff like that. Let's see. There's a pirate world. There's so many. There's one where they're all stuffed animals, and the main character keeps getting decapitated. Empire Strikes Back style. No, it's actually a lot. The main villains are just giant babies. There is an Empire... They don't do a Star Trek parody. But they do they don't do a Star Wars parody. They make reference to it once or twice. But they do a Star Trek parody episode. So there's an episode parodying Star Trek. And I'm pretty sure they got George Takei. I didn't actually check. They either got George Takei or they got an impersonator. But, like, that was like, oh, that's neat. Or, you know, they got someone who would split the difference. But, that was, right, there's a bunch of stuff like that, and it's just them being, like, part-time heroes. Just going through a variety of worlds, doing that. There is this overarching story, because the main character, the reason he's doing the part-time hero stuff is because his parents did it. But his parents went missing. It's not that they're missing. It's more that they're trapped in, like, it's literally called the most dangerous world imaginable. And so the hero's quest is to get his parents out of the most dangerous world imaginable. Right? He wants to save his parents. And, like, he can still communicate with them. He talks to them occasionally on, like, his, I think it's called, like, a moop or something like that. It's a communicator, basically. And it's just overall around, it's a solid show. Nothing mind-blowing or anything, but it's fun. I like the villain is, so you have the villain Ripon, who is just a generic, you know, evil guy villain. But he has a henchman named Larry, who is just the sweetest little guy imaginable. And I like Larry, and I like Ripon's whatever. You know, like, you eventually find out his tragic backstory is that, right, he had an overachieving sister and his parents don't love him at all. And then finally, when he was able to trap the hero's parents in an alternate dimension, right, in the most dangerous world, he was finally able to get some love from his parents. So as a result, he wants to stop the hero from being able to free his parents. So, like, that, you find out that's his motivation. You don't really get, like, Larry's just kind of doing it, because they're also going to high school, and the main villain, Ripon, is their art teacher. Larry is their principal. Which, okay, that's a good subversion, right? Subverting it where he's not the principal. But what I did find interesting, because in the first episode, the villain's headquarters is right next door to the hero's headquarters, and it's like a fish stick shop. And so in, like, the first episode, you see the hero and villain, like, greet each other outside. And I was like, do they know each other? Like, do they know each other, like, outside of this hero and villain thing? Like, do they know that they're the hero and villain for each other? And yes, you find out they do actually know each other. And, like, Ripon is fully aware that, like, Penn is his student in class. And is, like, he's not, like, and he's, like, trying to make his, like, school life miserable. And all that stuff. So yeah, no, that is something and, like, they're kind of aware of it, but, you know, there's kind of like a truce at school, like, while they're at school, there's a sort of truce. At one point, the hero and villain make a deal, and, like, if the villain lives up to his end of the bargain, he'll give him a good, like, teacher evaluation review, so that way he can get a better parking spot. And then, right, even though the villain breaks the deal, at the end of the episode, the villain still gets the better parking spot anyways. So, like, you have these sympathetic moments, because Ripon's just a fucking loser, right? Like, he's not as sympathetic as, like, someone like Doofenshmirtz, who you just love, right? Who's just such a lovable character. They never go that far with him, sadly. But, you know, you get more development with him, you get these good moments, and he's okay. I like Larry a lot more, but, like, there's a reason they can't make Larry the main villain. But, and they do play around with that once or twice. But yeah, overall, I think it's a really solid show. In the finale, they do finally, they have the, because this is a show that part of me thinks they wanted more seasons. Because this is a concept with theoretically limitless potential, but it does have a proper ending. And I do think the show ends on a good note, where, like, the hero finally finds these magic crystals that allow him to find the most dangerous reality. All of the hero and villain's allies show back up, and they all fight against the hero, right? Then they have this big epic battle to decide the fate of good and evil. Because the whole thing is, like, if their goal is to, like, balance out the multiverse, so that way, like, villainy and evil are balanced. But for villainy and evil to stay balanced, wouldn't they have to, right, balance things? But no, instead, the villain always loses. And the villain always losing somehow creates balance? Oh my god. That's something I was wondering about. Like, why is it that good always has to win to create balance in the show? It's just a question I had, you know? Like, if it was real balance, then wouldn't good and... Maybe again, that's how Star Wars works. Star Wars, good and evil are balanced, and good and evil will win equally. Which is what I think makes Star Wars so interesting. And, you know, a lot of Star Wars fans don't realize that. Go watch the Freddie Prinze Jr. thing. You know what I'm talking about, if you know what I'm talking about. Oh, God. I'm screwing up here. Okay, this one's totally my fault. I'm screwing up here. But yeah, so at the end, you get this climactic battle. The hero's able to save his parents. He saves the villain from falling to his death. And it ends on a pretty good note. The villain ends up sacrificing himself to, you know, save all realities and whatnot. And I really liked how the show ended, actually. And yeah, the hero's reunited with his parents. You find out that Phyllis, you know, the one who runs the interdimensional hero thing, is in the villain named Phil, who, you know, runs the villain place, are actually, like, the same creature. And, like, there's some, like, multiversal entity, and there's a hint at something else, like a season 2, where it's like, oh, phase 1 is complete, now moving on to phase 2. But I don't think the show ever got continued from there, so... Who knows what happened with that? Nope. I knew I wasn't going to make that jump, but I had to try. Oh, and we're both out. Yeah, I totally botched that. I could have stayed up on some of those higher levels for way longer than I did. And I completely botched it. But yeah, so you find out Phyllis is like this multiversal entity, and they leave with the portal and like taking the portal with them. And then like Phyllis tells them like, oh, still do good, even though there's no like multiversal heroing, you can still be a hero. And so at the end, the hero, Boone and Sashi start like they're basically like just helping people around like the neighborhood, like they help find like a lost kitten or whatever. And now, okay, if I do have one complaint with the finale. So so the main cast is the hero Penn, Boone, who is like their wise man. And Boone's your Patrick Star, right? That's exactly what you'd expect from Boone. He is Patrick Star. Sashi is the no-nonsense tomboy, who does get, you know, who's not just like strong woman. People complaining about strong woman, it's really drives me crazy, because I feel like half the examples people use, it's bullshit. So, but no, Sashi, has her development. She has her insecurities. Like, one of the big things is that her family, like, her parents don't know that she's, like, this multiversal hero. And as a result, they give her brother a lot of praise, and she gets nothing. And, like, that's some of her development. One of the interesting things is in the second season, there's a lot of infighting. Like, there's one episode where, the hero and Sashi are pissed at each other. There's another episode where Sashi and Boone won't talk to each other. And so that happens sometimes in the first season, but it happens a lot more in the second season, because there's only 2 seasons. And yeah, it does show, these characters, like, they have lives out, like, we don't barely see any of the school stuff. There's maybe, like, 6 episodes in total that deal with school stuff. But, like, they have these whole lives outside of, like, these being part-time heroes. And you get stuff like that. But in the final episode, because throughout this, both Sashi and Penn have, like, people they are interested in. Sashi has a crush on this dragon guy named Blaze. And Penn has a crush on this pirate, whose name I don't remember. But in the final episode, Penn and Sashi share a kiss. And, and one of the things I do like, I know, there's this trend in, like, every modern show to have the main male protagonist and the main female protagonist hook up. And one of the things I was liking about the show is that they were just completely avoiding it, They had other romantic interests, They had other people, They had other stuff. So I do kind of feel like there's some bullshit there at the end by having them hook up anyways. You know, I know I'm spoiled by OKKO. Because OKKO has a male and a female lead. And they don't hook, right? Rad and Enith, they do a second first date. But they never hook up. And that was something I was very thankful for. Because, right, Rad is in love with the Strawberry, whose name I don't remember, and Enid is in love with Red Action. So, right, they both have their other partners to worry about. But I guess I'm spoiled by OKKO, because basically every other show hooks up the main male lead and the main female lead. I'm looking at you, Star vs. the Forces of Evil. I know what you did. What a fucking mess. But no, so that was kind of disappointing that at the very end, it doesn't kill the show for me or anything, but it's just kind of out of nowhere. It's like there was no reason for Penn and Sashi to hook up at the end. It just feels like they did it because that's what's expected of shows with a main female and a main male protagonist. So, whatever. Other than that, no, I think the show is pretty solid. Again, I think it ends on a very good note, which is something that it's only 2 seasons, so it's got that Gravity Fall, right? Gravity Falls, only 2 seasons, but it ends on a very good note. Centaur World, 2 seasons, there's an asterisk there. Ends on a very solid note. And yeah, this, 2 seasons, ends on a solid note. They could always do more, but, you know, I think where they end, it's fine. And yeah, I do... What was the show I was reading about recently? That where they got canceled, they got their finale, but then the creators were like, oh, we had tons of other ideas for episodes, but we were canceled early or whatever. What was that? I was reading about that recently in a show. I don't remember clearly, but I was reading about it recently. That's what I'll say. I don't think it was Amphibia, because Amphibia had its finale, like last week, or God, maybe even like Monday or whatever. But I was reading about a show that did have its finale recently. Or not that it had its finale recently, but the showrunners were like, yeah, if we had like a bunch more ideas for like 100 other episodes, but those will never happen because they got canceled early. But yeah, it's better to see a show at least get their finale than just to end. Like, I think, is that DC Legends of Tomorrow at the moment? They got canceled after 7 seasons, and their most recent season ends on a cliffhanger. Not that I've never watched that show. It's basically just comic book Doctor Who. Like, that's, from everything I've heard about DC Legends of Tomorrow, it's literally just Doctor Who. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, my partner actually also completed. Oh, we might actually have a chance here. But yeah, you know, I do kind of think that, like, oh, our shows that end earlier, does that guarantee them a better chance of actually nailing the finale? Because, you know, when a show goes on for 5 or 6 seasons, there's a higher likelihood that they're gonna screw up their finale because there's been a lot more time between that finale, right, between the start of the show, so there's a lot more expectations. Also, it's just... Wait, did anybody get knocked out there? What? Did anybody... Not that many people finished that, I'm pretty sure. What? Wait, what just happened there? I don't know. But, where was I? Yeah. Because, yeah, Gravity Falls ends on a good note. Centaur World ends on a good note. This ended on a good note. Steven and Star. Again, I don't hate the Steven finale. And at least at the time, I didn't hate the Star finale either. I didn't love the Star finale, but I didn't hate it. Like, the conclusion they came to was the same conclusion that me as the viewer came to. It's just more of how they handled it, I think. And, you know, putting Marco and Star together. But... yeah. Yeah, I'm just honestly surprised I had never heard of this show before. That, right, and all the cartoon stuff I did, I had somehow just never you. It's not that I had heard of it and I just didn't watch it. No, I had just never heard of it, straight up. Maybe at the time I was busy watching DuckTales, because I think that was also airing around this time. Another show that I also think had a pretty good finale, but I know was also cut short. Like, they wanted to do more with DuckTales, and that just didn't happen. At least that's what that's what I feel like I've heard in interviews. But yeah, Penn Zero, not bad. But yeah, there are so many other shows that that I have heard of that I still need to get to, like, you know, Hilda and Amphibia, which again just ended. Owl House, which I do want to get to at some point because I keep hearing great things about the Owl House, and I think that's also one that got cut short. Like, they're working on the Owl House series finale right now, and it got cut short as well. But out of all these shows I have been meaning to caught up on, I actually did finally start one of them. Yep, after all of these shows being like, you know, I should finally watch this, I should finally watch that, I finally sat down and watched one of them. So, I've been a fan of Overly Sarcastic Productions, specifically Red, for years now. That's one of those few YouTubers who I could be like, I got into them before they were big, before they were cool. I only have like 3 of those, man. Let me have my 3. But yeah, Overly Sarcastic Production. When they were doing Shakespeare stuff. That's how long ago it was. Before even a single video was animated. But yeah, Overly Sarcastic Productions put out a video, I think 2 days, maybe yesterday, maybe it was 2 days ago. I want to say it was 2 days ago. Talking about, are we the bad guys? So they're looking at the trope of, are we the bad guys? And they're like, okay, let's actually, like, examine this trope, right? You know, trope, if you've seen a trope talk, you know what I'm talking about. And so they did the Are We the Bad Guys, and in that, one of the examples they use in that video is She-Ra, Princess of Power. And She-Ra has been one of those shows that has been on my list to watch for years now, but I'd never actually watched it. At least not until now. So the video only came out yesterday. So I'm very yesterday or 2 days ago. I don't know. I honestly don't remember when the video came out. But I'd watched it basically immediately after it came out. And I was like, oh, okay. And yeah, they used She-Ra, and I had no idea She-Ra was a story that started off with her working for the villains. I had no idea. And I was like, you know what? Maybe it's time I finally watch She-Ra. Because on a previous stream, I think it was an Animal Crossing stream, definitely sometime in the past year, I talked about Lumberjanes, which was, I'm going to call them Noelle Stevenson. It might be Noelle. I don't know what title they go by anymore. I will be using they pronouns because I don't know what pronouns they prefer. So I'm going to be using they, or just off the top of my head. So I'm going to say Noelle Stevenson, and I'm going to use they pronouns. Because I know no matter what, I'm not winning. So I'm going to go with that for the moment. And I had read the comic Lumberjanes, which I think wrapped up either last year or 2 years ago now. And I finally got caught up with Lumberjanes, and I finished it like I think either late last year or early this year, right? Because it was a comic I was genuinely interested in. And yeah, I had enjoyed it previously, but I'd fallen like way behind on it. But I finally sat down and I finished Lumberjanes. Oh, fudge me. But yeah, so Lumberjanes was a comic I really enjoyed. But I had always, because I've followed them on Twitter for a long time now. So I in it right because of Lumberjanes and whatnot, but I'd never watched She-Ra. It was always one of those shows that I said I was going to watch, and then I just never did. And finally, after seeing that Overly Sarcastic Productions video, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should finally just sit down and watch it. So I sat down and I watched She-Ra, and you know what? I'm enjoying it so far. I am a season in, so I'm still very early on in the show. But so far, I am enjoying it. So what's it about? Well, She-Ra, of course. So you start off with Adora and Catra, and they're working for the Horde because, yeah, they're the bad guys. Which, again, I had no idea going into this. Well, I had no idea about the show that they started off as the bad guys. And right, I know some things about the finale. I'll keep it more as vague as that because I haven't seen those episodes yet. I've heard things about the finale. So, like, I know where this is eventually going to end. But at the moment, so you see, right, Adora and Catra, and they're working for the villains. And then Adora, they go out, she finds the sword, she meets the heroes, and realizes, oh wait, I'm the bad guy. Maybe it is time I do better. So she starts working for the heroes in the rebellion. Catra sees it, gets pissed off at her, and doubles down as being the villain. Eventually, there's an episode where she, like, turns on her, where they explore, like, a temple, like an ancient one's temple, and they relive some of their memories. And, like, Catra comes to the conclusion of, like, oh, you were holding me back the entire... that we're not friends. I'm just your Lancer. I'm your second place. No more. I'm actually glad that you're gone, because now I get to be in charge. Right? She gets this higher up position. And, right, she tries to kill Adora. It doesn't work. But, yeah, I'm totally invested in these two's right? Catra and Adora. Like, that's where all the good tension is. That flashback episode's great. Just every once in a while seeing them interact, like when Adora goes to fix the bridge, or the gate. It's a gate, actually. And Catra's just there taunting her. That's really good. In the finale, their showdown, and Catra's like, nope, I was just stalling you. The real plan is to take out the crystal. That's a good moment. The other characters, I think, are pretty good. Bo is fine, right? The archer. There, of course, is some romantic tension, because there is a prom episode in the first season where they go to a prom, and, of course, Catra and, I talked about, right, in Penn Zero, I talked about, Larry, who was just, like, the nicest villain. The Adventures of Happiest Space Captain, if you will. That's, Scorpia. She is, right, she's a scorpion princess, and it's just the Adventures of Happiest Space Captain. I like villains like that. It's clear that at some point, right, they're hinting that, like, for Adora to defeat the Horde, she needs to unite all the princesses. So, of course, she's going to have to be redeemed at some point, or, you know, switch over to the side of good. Yeah, but yeah, in the prom episode, there is tension, because, Bo goes to the prom with somebody else. I want to say it's not Persephone. I want to say it's like Perfuma or something like that. So he goes to the prom with somebody else, and this annoys Glimmer. I think it's Glimmer? That sounds right. And so, right, there's something there. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Glimmer is, right, the princess who's trying to restart the rebellion. She's trying to form the new coalition of princesses, and like some of this episode, I was convinced this entire season was just going to be them traveling to like recruit a bunch of princesses. And that's, to be fair, that is the first half of the season. Is they go and they recruit Perfuma, they recruit the mermaid princess, there's one other I think they recruit as well. The tech princess. It's Entrappa? I think it's Entrappa. Yeah. But then they go to the Winter's Ball, they go to prom, and then Bo and Glimmer get captured. So now Dora has to go out and rescue them. But yeah, so like the first half is all about them recruiting the princesses, getting their supporting cast. Even though really they only show up in like outside of the episode they're in, they only show up one other time. And so it's them recruiting them, and then yeah, at the end of the prom episode, the sword is taken, the sword of protection that allows Adora to become She-Ra, and both Bo and Glimmer are taken. So now she has to go in and save them, and she gets the help of all the other princesses. So they go in, they're able to save Bo, they're able to save Glimmer, but like her powers aren't working or whatever. But then there's the twist where it's like, oh, during the raid, it looks like Entrappa dies. But of course, as a viewer, you know, like, oh, she's not dead at all. And she's a technology princess who has like, her hair is like prehensile, so she can like turn it into like fingers and hands and whatnot. But then they do the thing where it's like, okay, so now Entrappa, they think, right, everyone else thinks she's dead. No, surprise twist, she's not. And then the villain, Catra, convinces Entrappa to work for them because, right, they claim that Adora's her friend, but yet Adora left her here. So, right, they're able to finally convince her, and because, of course, the Horde has it's one of those technology versus magic things, and the Horde has technology, so she's all interested in that now. But I do think that's a good twist to have, like, basically an anti-princess alliance with, right, Scorpia and Entrappa and Catra, who's not a princess, but, you know, Bo isn't a princess either. So I feel like I do want them to play more into that in the next season, or in one of the future seasons, is just to have a straight up anti-princess alliance, especially because we know the hero's goal is to now unite all the princesses. So that's so I like that. And by the end of the season, the heroes don't even know that Entrappa's still alive. As far as they know, she's still dead. So that's a shoe that's going to have to drop at some point. And I wonder how that's going to happen. The villain... So you have Catra is one of the main villains. You have Shadow Weaver, who we do get a bit of her backstory. Because Shadow Weaver is basically Snoke, right? Where, right, her goal... Because she knows Adora is special, that she has the power of She-Ra and whatnot. She wants Adora to, right, join her on the side of evil. Which is where she had her until, you know, Adora switched sides because she's a good person. But now she wants to, like, get her back. But then, by the end of the season, Catra has supplanted her. Right? Her Shadow Weaver's plan fails. And now Catra has basically supplanted her. And even though Catra's assault on Moonbeam Keep or whatever fails, it still gets her she still has the number 2 position now. The Shadow Weaver is more or less taken out. But, of course, there is right there, Shadow Weaver is like the minor villain working for the much bigger villain of, it's not, I'm going to call him Morda. I don't think that's right. Morda. It's something like that. And I was expecting them to keep Morda in the shadows, right? Where he's always, like, in the background, hidden in the shadows for... Who knows, honestly, like a season or 2. No, you see him, like, as, of course, I've never seen the original She-Ra show. I've only seen a few episodes of the original He-Man show. I haven't seen the new He-Man show at all. But, right, I know I do know that She-Ra is villain. I know what he looked like. So, it's like, it's technically, like, I would have thought that, like, they would have just kept him in shadows, because that's what a modern show would have done. No, you see him in, like, the 2nd episode. And he shows up a few times after that. They have no qualms with just straight up showing who is presumably the final boss, unless, of course, Catra eventually supplants him. Because you definitely go from Catra, starts off as like a friend, And right, she's becoming the right. I said Star Wars with Shadow Weaver being Snoke. Catra is Kylo Ren. And I mean, there is like, I know Kylo Ren makes Rey the offer to like join the dark side with her. And technically that does kind of happen. It happens way earlier in here. But this is instead as if Kylo Ren had to, like, after killing Snoke, then chose to destroy Rey because she couldn't have anyone interfering or that Rey would supplant her. Right. It's a little bit of a sloppy metaphor, but you get what I'm saying. But yeah, no, I'm totally invested in the main character in Catra. That's what... I kind of know where it's ending, but from that overly sarcastic productions video, I know Catra is going to get worse before she gets better. But yeah, all around, just watching the first season, I enjoyed it. I had my fun with She-Ra. If it wasn't for, literally, I finished up watching the season 1 finale maybe 10 minutes before we started the stream today. So, like, if we hadn't started streaming, I would probably still be going right now. Because I've been enjoying it. It's, I think each season is like 13 episodes, so that's not long at all. So hopefully I'll get some more time into that, right? Hopefully I'll put some, right? Hopefully I'll be able to go through it. I do wonder if I'm gonna watch the show faster than because, you know, it'd be nice to be like, oh, hey, guess what? Next week, we finish Season 2. But who knows? By next week, we could have finished Season 3, if not more. But I've thoroughly enjoyed the first season. Of course, there's all these hints that, like, there's this Ancient One technology. The power of She-Ra is like the Avatar, where it's something that has been passed down for generations. And Adora is the first She-Ra in like 1,000 years because the last one got too emotional and like failed to like, I don't even know if it's failed to like stop the villain. There's something about like a meteor or something. The Ancient Ones are aliens or whatever who came to this planet. I don't know. There's this whole, in like the penultimate episode of the season, there's like, you get a lot of this like backstory revealed, and you don't get all of it because Adora then has to make the choice of, does she stay and train or does she go back to help her friends? Again, there's a lot of Star Wars. There's a lot of comparisons to Star Wars here, and I'm talking like Empire Strikes Back, right? Even though that does also happen in The Last Jedi. Because, yeah, Rey chooses to go with her friends. Again, this is way before... I think this is way before The Last Jedi came out. Yeah. Animation-wise, I think the animation is pretty decent, all things considered. It really does... It's funny, and it sucks at the same time. I don't use Netflix anymore. The one exception, though, for my Netflix use recently has been animated shows. Oh, I'm also gonna, probably next week, we'll talk about Adam Conover's new show, The G Word, but we'll do that next week. But, because I haven't watched it yet. I also haven't watched Chip and Dale. But, it's funny, I don't use Netflix for basically anything else, except for animation, like Centaur World and whatnot, and eventually Hilda. And yet Netflix, of like the 140 staff members Netflix just fired, I think 70 of them, so half of the staff members Netflix just fired were animators. So, yeah, if you're a fan of Netflix animation, like if you like Love, Death, and Robots, yeah, shit might go sideways for that soon. Just keep that in mind. Because Netflix has decided animation is not the way to go, even though I only use Netflix for animation. Like, yeah, am I watching, what's Bluey on? I don't know. Am I watching Cupcake and Dino? No. But Netflix, whatever. Fucking Netflix. You know, that's the problem with capitalism. Unsustainable growth just isn't possible. And yet companies like Netflix build themselves on unsustainable growth. So that way, when they finally stop that unsustainable growing, everything implodes, which is what's currently happening on Netflix. But no, it's the users who are at fault. because they're sharing passwords. Fuck that. Anyone who tells you that the reason Netflix is dying is because people are sharing passwords are just a stooge in the corporate machine. That's not the reason at all. It's capitalism and its unsustainable growth. But yeah, I'm super. I enjoyed the first season. I can't believe it took me this long to finally watch it. And there are so many other things I've never watched as well. But, you know, I'm going to keep trekking through it. I'm really enjoying it at the moment. And yeah, I'm having a good time. So yeah, I guess that takes us to the outro. So yeah, I know we spent about an hour just talking Fall Guys Free-for-All. And we'll of course be playing it. The reason we're streaming Fall Guys today, I should have said, is because of the Fall Guys Free-for-All thing. Next week, we will be doing something different. I will be doing Minecraft. Just straight up gonna say it right now. I know we've been doing Fall Guys a lot recently. I would say every episode this season, but no, we did Wii Sports once. And maybe we'll do some more Wii Sports at some point. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. But I do want to do Minecraft next week. I got 3 achievements to get. The pre-release 1.19.1 or 1.19 pre-release 1 came out recently. So, you know, 1.19 will be here before we know it. So I do want to get those 3 achievements before 1.19 comes out. So, yeah. Oh my god. I saw a joke. That was a bunch of Minecraft players, specifically YouTubers, are going to no longer be playing Minecraft as of the new update. Not because there's anything wrong with the update, but because they don't hang out with anyone over the age of 18. That's a joke I know I've seen in other places before for other games. But yeah, I just thought of that. I just remembered that, you know. But no, I gotta do the 1.18 achievements before I do the 1.19 achievements. Which, God, whatever those are gonna be. Oh, who knows. I don't know, they normally only add like 3 achievements per update, so... I bet one of them's gonna be to, like, escape a skulker or whatever. To maybe make something, I don't know. Tame an allay, I bet. Give an allay a cookie. I bet that has something to do with it. I bet that. I can almost guarantee that's one. I don't know. I say stuff like that, but like all the 1.18 achievements are like really weird. Like one of them is just to play a music disc in the middle of a field, which had nothing to do with the new update. So who knows? But yeah, so next week for In Chat, we will be doing some achievement hunting. And, you know, other than that, the show's basically going to stay the same. Well, other than that, we'll probably talk about She-Ra again next week, because that's all I'm going to be watching. I don't know, I might do some supplemental stuff on YouTube. I will fully... One of the things I want to do, at least over the summer, is to get one video a week out on the main YouTube channel. So, like, once a week, a new video comes out on the main YouTube that talks about... it could be any stream highlight. It could be, like, a highlight of the stream. So, anything we talk about, like, in the stream. So, like, I might make the She-Ra thing into a highlight video. That's totally possible. I've still been wanting to do that the one on the Pokemon Nuzlocke. I still want to do one from Kirby Forgotten Lands. But I'm gonna try anyways to get out one video a week. I would like to do that on the main channel. Again, even if it's just a simple stream highlight. At the moment, that's kind of my plan. Or at least that's something I'm thinking about in the background, at least for the summer. I don't know how sustainable that is. But over the summer, I should be able to do it. So yeah, like, I put out the first one this weekend. It was, I took the Minecraft Fireflies thing from last week, and I turned that into a 30-minute... I took whatever the thing was, and I turned it into, like, a 30-minute video called An Excessively Long Discussion on the Minecraft Firefly. So yeah, if you're at all interested in that... That's up on the... If you just want to see that bit from the stream, that's up on the YouTube, so... Yep, that's there for anybody who wants it. I haven't even checked how many views that got. I just was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna make it. Might as well.